to get to the metaphysical, and the physical is developed.
No, we know that there's something beyond the metaphysical, so we cannot. I must just to let you know, I'm a scientist. Scientists in themselves do not totally understand consciousness, so you cannot be based on consciousness. It's a metaphysical realization. So we don't know where no scientist, and you will find no paper that tells you where consciousness starts or where it ends. So now we're at an issue.
I
So we
already
need to
read off
determine that.
those articles. We already
Yeah, so no, remember I wasn't here, so you have to make the argument to me.
it's 20 to 24 weeks.
No, there's no consensus on it.
Yes,
There's some that believe it that it's 2024. It's some believe that it's before, some believe that it's after. There's no total consensus on consciousness.
The
And
PubMed
as such, no, what's the greatest scientific virtue? If we don't know what do we do?
Sorry, say that again.
What's the greatest scientific virtue? What do we do as scientists if we're not totally sure about something?
The safest metric possible.
Yes, and the safer metric possible right here would be to err on the side of what? Caution, correct?
Which is 20 weeks.
Exactly.
20 weeks is
I know the size of caution would be not to engage in the activity any at all.
Nah,
That
it's
would be the
not
size
20
of
weeks.
caution. No, because you're all right. Let's look at it consequentially. I'm not a consequentialist, but I can engage. Maybe you're a consequentialist.
Okay.
Let's say we're wrong about the 20 to 24 reads, right? That means we have engaged and supported the unaliving of, at this point, what, 70 million children? But let's say that would be your consequence. My consequence, I would have inconvenienced some women for 9 months. Which one is the greater consequence?
See, I've heard this debate before, but I don't think it is necessarily an inconvenience. I think.
Yeah, but that's fine. Before you give me the qualifier, give me an answer and then give me the qualifier, because those are the two options you have right here. So give me the qualifier.
I disagree that I disagree with your premise in that it is only a what's the word you used?
What's an inconvenience?
Inconvenience for someone.
What's an inconvenience? Am I linguistically incorrect? Does it not fit the definition of an inconvenience?
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it is not only an inconvenience.
That's fine, but we know that it's at very least it's an inconvenience, but at the very most it is unalignment. So as scientists, we err on caution when we don't have a consensus or we don't understand something. So err on caution for the best possible situation would be not to engage in the thing. But let's look at it on a moral right. Let's see. First of all, do you believe that there is a right to an abortion?
Okay. Then we have to.
I believe you have a right to
When have we
healthcare.
ever had a right to healthcare?
Healthcare? Okay. Then we have to go down to this. All right. When have we ever had a right to healthcare?
Definition of a right, so we can break
Before we go, what's a right? I need to know your definition of a right so we can break this down. What's a right?
No.
Are we talking about there's different kinds of rights?
No. What is a right? If you're going to describe a right to somebody, what is a right? We're going to epistemology right now. What's a right?
Generally, you can say it's something you deserve.
Okay. So you deserve? Who decides if you deserve it?
Even objective morality.
Morality, I would say morality, generally.
So you believe in objective morality?
Morality as a justification.
No, I believe all morality is subjective.
So then you cannot use morality as a justification, so you have to give me something else. I need some form of founding. I need some grounding. I need you to have some grounding here so I can expound on your points. I need some form of grounding.
Entitlement, absent duty or virtue. Do you want to?
All right, let me give you my grounding first. I believe a right is an entitlement absent duty or virtue. Do you
Say
want
that one more time?
Go on. A right is an entitlement absent duty or virtue.
Okay.
Tangible human rights
Okay, and as such, rights, I don't believe in
very nebulous.
tangible human rights or anything, because those rights are actually very, very, very nebulous. They're subjective. Your rights change from country to country, from time period to time period. So I would be more of a Christian ethicist on the basis of rights, because it has an unyielding, unchangeable foundation. And that's where the problem with liberals is, that you guys have no unyielding or unchanging foundation. So your points fall apart every single
So when
time because
let's say an
you change with
anti-abortionist
the
comes, you
time
have something
period. You have
morally
nothing
grounded in
morally
the
grounded in
foundation.
you.
You
So when
don't think that there's a
let's say an
problem.
anti-abortionist comes, they have something morally grounding them in that
Even
foundation. You don't, and that's a problem.
That's an interesting
Even
take. I see what you're saying. One second. I see what you're saying. Interesting take. Also, those hearts were real cute. Um, I wonder though. Do you think so? I'm only. How do I explain what I want to say? Do you think
remember, I don't
that
think the
rights
concept of
and
rights even
morals
come
shouldn't
because the thing about
change?
it, if I go along with your concept of rights,
remember, I don't
you
believe in the
would
concept of
actually
rights
have
any
this
at all.
force.
Because the
So
thing
that's
about
where the
it,
force doctrine
if I
comes
go
in
along with your concept of
because your
rights,
right you
only
only
thing
have
you
as much
actually
rights as
have
the
is
person
force.
allows you to have
So
rights.
that's where force doctrine comes in. Because you're right, you only have as much rights as the person allows you to have
Okay,
rights.
how do you make sure everybody is following
I
or
would
respecting your
generally disagree
rights?
with that.
Okay, how do you make sure
By
everybody is
what
following
mechanism?
or respecting your rights? By what
All right,
mechanism?
let me give you an analogy.
I wish I
You
could
have a right
explain
to
what I'm
life,
thinking a
right?
lot
If
better.
I come up and take your
All right,
right to life,
let me
or
give you
what
an
prevents me
analogy.
from doing it?
If
Good.
you have a right to life, right? If I come up and take your right to life, or what prevents me from
And
doing that?
and laws are what? Laws are what?
The laws. Are you asking me
And
literally
laws
or
are
Laws
what?
are not
Laws
based
are
on
what?
morality, bro. That's crazy to
based on
no,
morality?
no. Laws
No,
are laws.
laws are
There's a reason
not
why they
based
call
on
police
morality,
officers law
bro. That's
enforcement.
crazy to
Law and right
no,
is only as
no,
strong as its enforcement. Laws are
there's a reason why you call
the
police officers law
enforcement of
enforcement.
certain
A
things that
law and
the
right is only
population
as
agrees
strong as its
upon.
enforcement. Laws are basically the enforcement of certain things that
No,
the population agrees upon.
remember,
And what is
how
it
can the
that the
population
population
agree
agrees
upon
upon? It's
morality when it's
morality, is it
wrong to
not?
unalive
No.
somebody?
Okay, then what is it?
Remember, how can the
Some persons
population
have
agree upon morality?
some
Why is it
person
wrong
no
to
some persons
unalive
have a
somebody?
consequentialist view of it. Some persons have a Christian
Because
moral
they
Some
view of
had
it.
persons
a
have
previous
Some
some
persons
consciousness.
person
have
no,
a
some persons have a
utilitarian view of it. So
consequentialist view
your
of it, some
moral
persons have
your
a
personal
Christian
view.
moral ethical view of it, and some persons
So all right,
have
let's say
a
we're living without
utilitarian view
there's
of
no
it. So
laws there.
their moralities are
Is it
totally
right for me to
different.
unalive you there?
So alright, let's say we're in the jungle. There's no laws there, right? Is it right
Okay.
for me to
But
unalive you
we're
there?
ascribing to the morals of the jungle.
Morally, no.
But we're ascribing
And
to the morals of the
where does the
jungle.
morals come from?
I'm ascribing to my morals of my own personal morals.
And where does the morals come from?
Factual belief to come
Uh,
to a conclusion. I don't understand what you're saying.
Factual
Next
belief
question. Where
to
does your
come to a
morals come
conclusion.
from?
Factual belief to come to a I don't understand what you just said, but let's go again. Where does your morals come from?
I take in facts and come to a conclusion based off
Alright,
of the
let's
facts
say
that I've
you're
heard, and those are
okay.
the
Let's say
morals that
I taught you from the very beginning
I
of your
come.
life that no,
All right,
unalive
let's
is
say
right.
you
So
only
that's your
take. Let's
factual
say
basis of
I
what you've
taught you from
learned,
the
right?
very
Does that
beginning of your
suddenly make
life
it
that
right?
unalivement is fine. So that's the factual basis of what you've learned. That does that suddenly make it right?
And you see, I wonder
To
if you
me
realize the
personally, no,
problem with
but to that
objective
one person,
morality
I'm
right
sure it
now.
would be.
Are you seeing the problem?
And you see,
Are you seeing it?
I wonder if you realize the problem with objective morality right now. Are
You
you seeing the
just said
problem?
your morals are
Are you
Uh,
seeing
dependent
it?
upon factual
Go
basis
ahead
of
and
what you have
explain it.
been taught
You
or
just
experienced,
said
right?
your
So that
morals are
only
dependent
changes
upon
every single
factual
right. So that
basis
there
of
can
what
be
you have
a
been
argument for why
taught or
unalignment
intake,
is
right?
right.
So that means it
You would agree
changes
with that
every single
argument
way.
if
So
that
if I can
argument is
make an
factually
argument for
sound,
why
correct?
unalignment is right, you would agree with that argument if it argument is
Yes.
factually
Do you
sound,
realize
correct?
how crazy that is,
If you made
bro?
an
You're
argument that
listening
is
to
factually
yourself.
sound, I would agree to it.
Yes. Do you realize how crazy that
No,
is,
so
bro?
no,
Are
I'm
you
not saying
listening
it's
to
incorrect,
yourself?
bro. There's something
What did
above
I say that was
factual, as
incorrect?
even as a
No,
side,
so no,
there's
I'm not
things
saying it's
above the
incorrect, bro.
metaphysical,
There's something
above factual
above
based
a
argument
factual,
and
even as a
above
side,
thought
there's things
morality.
above the metaphysical, above factual based
There's something
arguments and
above that, bro.
above thought morality. There's something above that, bro.
Exactly. So that means that there
In
can be
general,
no objective morality.
yes.
There can be no subjective morality.
Exactly.
There
So that
must be
means that
some
there can
subjective
be
basis
no objective
underlying
morality.
holding
There no,
everything
there can
together,
be no
correct?
subjective morality. There must be some subjective basis underlying
Okay,
holding
all right. You
everything
don't believe
together, correct?
absolutes. All right, cool.
You're using
Let's
absolutes. I
prove that
disagree with the
absolutes
fact
are
that
true.
it's
I
an
love using
absolute.
this.
Okay, all right. You
How
don't
do you
believe
make a child?
absolutes? All right, cool. Let's prove that absolutes are true. I love using this one. How do you make a child?
No, let's be
I don't know if I
There's
can talk
only
about it
one
on
method to
TikTok.
make a child.
No,
It's okay, you
let,
can
let's
talk about it.
let's be
Ingredients to
let's
make
let's be
those child,
abstract.
that children
There's
that
only
child.
one method to
Okay,
make a
where
child.
do
What,
sperm
Sperm
what are
and
the ingredients to make those child that
Sperm and
that
egg.
child?
Yeah, sperm and egg.
Okay, where
else
do
can
sperm and egg
they
come from?
but men and women?
Generally men and women.
Please tell me
Where
there's
else can the
exception.
sperm and egg come from?
Tell me
Men
the
and women.
exception.
Generally men and women.
Please tell me where
No, but
there's an
Sparky,
exception.
there's no
It,
exception.
Tell
it
me
is
the
an
exception.
One
reproductive
root to create
organs
another
we're
life
talking
form,
about.
right?
Yes.
So
No, but
that's
sperm
objective.
That is
so
liberal.
there's no exception there. There's only one
Okay,
root
it's
create
objectively
another
true
life form,
also
right?
that we are
So that's
born and we have
objectively
to
true, correct?
unalive,
Right?
Correct.
Okay, it's objectively true also that we are born and we have to unalive,
And
right?
we also have to,
And
we also
we
unalive
are
at the
born.
end,
That
right?
is
So that's
true.
objectively true, right?
And we also have to,
So
and we also
so
our
we know
lives
that
have
there
to
are
end, right? So that's
we know that there are
objectively true,
absolutes in
right?
life.
Yes, memento mori.
So cool. So we know that there
Okay, so
are
let's
we know that there are
let's
absolutes in
channel it
life,
down from
correct?
there. That
Of
means
course,
that we have
there
a
are
basis,
absolutes in
and we can
life.
build from that
Okay, so
basis.
let's
Everything is built
let's
upon that
channel it
basis.
down from
So
there. That
let's
means
go
that we
through
have a
again.
basis, and we can
Life
build from
is
that basis, and everything is built upon
or
that
not
basis.
right for me to
So
protect
let's
the
go
life.
through again. Why is it right or not right for me to end a life?
So if I can,
I said it
if I
before.
am able to
Again, the
justify
unjustified ending of a life is
So if I
incorrect.
can, so if I am
Okay,
able
let's
to
go. You know
justify
what?
it,
I
it's
don't think I'm gonna get
cool.
anywhere with you. Let's
If it's justifiable, then it is okay.
Okay, let's go.
Why would
You
it
know
be
what?
justified?
I don't. Let's. I'm gonna go down to your worldview. Why would it be justified to end the life of a
Are you
baby?
going to a semantic
It's not
distinction right now,
justified to
where
end
you're
the
trying
life
to
of
say
a
that the
baby.
fetus is not a baby?
Are you going to a
What does
semantic
fetus mean in
distinction right now? Are you gonna try to say that the fetus is not a baby?
And what does
Yes,
baby mean?
100%.
What does fetus mean in Latin?
Little person.
No, it
And what does
doesn't mean
baby
born,
mean?
it means little person.
A born.
Little person.
No, it doesn't
What's the
mean born.
distinction
It means
I
between
can
little
give you the
person.
Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of baby.
It means a little person, a baby. What's the distinction
any
between a
stage of
baby
development
and a
with
fetus?
moral consideration,
Especially a
moral
newly or
distinctions that we
recently
have between a
born.
baby and a fetus.
For
Any
baby.
stage of development,
Are
what
they not
moral
let's do it factually.
consideration, what's
Are
the
they
moral
both
distinction
human?
that we
Are
have
they
between
both
a
of the human
baby and a
species?
fetus? Are they not both? Let's do it factually. Are they both human? Are they both of the human species?
Deserve
Yes, both
protection.
human.
Okay. Are they both
So
deserving of
so the baby
protection?
never deploys
After
consciousness
they
anymore.
have the capacity to deploy consciousness, yes.
So persons that so if the baby never deploys consciousness, we don't have to protect it.
Correct.
I don't know if you don't see this. You're being logically
Bro.
consistent. I can grant you that. But
Am
you realize
I
I
not
don't know if
being
you don't see
logically
this.
consistent?
justification for why I
You're being
you
logically
probably not as
consistent.
strong
I
as I
can
am. I
grant
can
you
use
that.
that same
But you
moral
realize that I
justification
can
to
make
get you
that
out, right?
inherent
You realize it,
justification
right?
for why you're probably not as strong as I am. I
Why
can
is it
use that same
unjustified?
moral
I can
justification to take
justify
you
it.
out,
I
right?
can do it
You
by
realize that, right?
Darwinism. You're weaker than
No,
me.
that's
You're more than me.
unjustified. I have the
Why is it
capacity to deploy
unjustified? I can justify it. I can do it by Darwinism. You're weaker than me. You're slower than me.
No,
I'm
consciousness
probably
is
can
not the
not.
justify
highest moral
it.
virtue. That's what I'm trying to get to.
I have the
I
capacity
can
to deploy
justify it by
consciousness.
just
That's what I put the moral
you're
value.
No,
you're
consciousness is not the highest moral virtue. That's what I'm trying to get to you. I can justify it by you remember.
the highest
You're
What is a higher
you're
what is
you
a higher
look.
moral virtue than
inherent
consciousness?
The highest moral virtue of consciousness is
What is higher than
inherent
moral,
moral.
what is a higher
social
moral value than
ethics, bro.
consciousness?
And that social ethics
Uh,
comes from life. Life comes
Your
from
Yeah,
inherent
consciousness,
life.
not the other
ethics,
way around.
social ethics, bro, and that social ethics comes from life. Life comes from consciousness,
No,
not
I'm
the
not
other way
consistent.
around.
Okay, one second. Are you
I
vegetarian?
don't value all life.
No, I'm not vegetarian.
So you don't value
No,
life,
he
you
can.
value consciousness.
No, he
No,
can.
I
No,
don't
he
value
can.
all life
No,
equally.
he
First of all,
can.
Human
comparing
life.
That's a
human life to
No,
an
he
animal
can.
life is
Justify
crazy.
Of
No,
course
he
I don't
can. No, he
value all
can.
life. Of
No,
course
he
I don't
can.
value
No,
all life
that's fine.
equally,
That's
and neither do I.
That's a fine. No, that's a fine. You can compare it. I don't have no problem with the comparison. But we all have hierarchies of which we deploy our moral consideration. Humans are the top of the hierarchy, whether you like it or not.
I
Humans
agree.
are the top of we have a
I agree.
higher moral foundation, and we also have higher moral duties. That's why you don't charge
that's what I'm
an
trying to say.
animal for unaliving a person.
I
You
agree.
cannot
That's
put that
why
animal on
after they have
court.
the
So
capacity to deploy consciousness, it
that's
should
what
be a
I'm trying to
debate.
say. No, that baby deserves protection, whether it has consciousness or not, because it's of the human species. It was created, and as such has the potential. It's not born. It's a, but the potential doesn't develop after the potential develops before. No, sorry, the potential
I know what
is
you're
not
trying to
in
say.
consideration after it. It's a life with potential, not a potential life. It is a
Yeah.
life, and as such, it's
I don't put any moral
justified in
value on its
protection.
potential. I put moral value on both the past, present, and future of that consciousness. I
But you
don't
don't
put
know
any
the
moral
past,
value
present,
on the
or
future.
you don't know the future. Do you know the future of the do you know the future? I don't.
No, of course. That's why I don't put any moral value on it.
You just put moral value on it.
No, I'm saying I don't. I have moral value on the past and present. So if you have had the capacity to deploy consciousness, and you will with both the past capacity, then you have moral consideration. But if you have had no capacity to deploy consciousness, then and it will just happen in the future, then I don't consider that morally virtuous.
But we have already proven that we don't know when consciousness begins.
20 to 24 weeks.
Have a consensus. We do not.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna bring it up right now, and I'm trying to tell you that we do not have a consensus. We do not fully understand consciousness, so we do not know when it starts or when it ends. So as such, we have to err on the side of caution. So you keep saying 24 to 24 weeks like it's definitive. It's not definitive. Are you trying to tell me that scientists definitively say consciousness starts with 20 to 24 weeks?
Yes, PubMed ID 25160864.
Okay, let me look at it. Give me a second.
Titled "The Emergence of Consciousness, Science, and Ethics." Says the limit of, or was it this one, or was it the one that I looked at
I'm looking
before?
at it right now. I'm gonna ask a very simple
Yeah,
question.
my internet's going out. My bad.
Right here.
That's fine. I'm looking at it right now. I'm gonna ask a very simple question because I want to be fair right here.
All right.
Let's see.
I want to be totally fair right here. Give me a second.
All right. Let's see.
And I'm
I
asking,
want to be totally fair right here. Give me a second.
And then also basic consciousness of the newborn.
And I'm asking, is it the consensus? Is it definitive, or is it a guess? There's a difference there.
There's a consensus with every
There's a
single
consensus. It says that there's a consensus because by law you have to put that there's a consensus. It doesn't say it's a consensus.
with every single one that I've read, I've seen 20 to 24 weeks.
That doesn't mean that there's a consensus. You know that, right?
Of course, it's a scientific consensus.
No, does it say it's a scientific consensus? Does it say it's definitive?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
You're a scientist. You know the difference between a
Exactly. That's what no. You'd have to provide me with that. That's what I'm asking you because I've never seen it. Its consciousness is still debated up to this day. It's one of the most discussed
because I've never seen it. Its consciousness is still debated up to this day. It's one of the most discussed thought processes from philosophers through time. No one has ever been able to narrow it down. And that's why we know it's metaphysical. It has to be something beyond.
No, some bureaucrats have decided that should be around that time period. It has not been narrowed down because if it has been narrowed down, we'd have not gotten 20 to 24 weeks. We'd have gotten a space of at least a week. We'd have at least know how it comes about. We'd at least know where it comes from. We don't know these things, Noah. And we know that it doesn't strictly come from brain activity because when brain activity has stopped before and people have restarted their brains or have been brain dead and come back from that and still have their same level of consciousness. So we know that it doesn't simply start or stop at brain activity. We know this. It's something beyond that. It's a part of the transcendental argument for God. We know that there's something beyond that. We know, just like how we know that God exists because it implies
Give
We
me
know
one
that there's
second.
something beyond.
implies a creator. We know that
We know
consciousness
just like how we know that God
also
exists because it
we know that
implies
it
a
operates
we can
outside
see
the
the
bounds
creator,
of
so it
just
implies a creator.
corporeal
We know that
action or
consciousness
existence.
also is metaphysical because we know that it operates outside the bounds of just
Wow, yeah,
corporeal
exactly.
actions
So
or
it's
systems.
jumping all
Oh,
over
this
the
one says
place.
30 to
We don't
35
know.
weeks. That's
No,
interesting.
I have one. No,
Wow,
I have one right now. No,
exactly.
I have one
So
right here that
it's
says
jumping
0 to
all
2
over
weeks.
the place. We
So
I
which
don't
one do we
know.
believe?
But again,
I
I've
can
never
no.
seen anything
I have
before
one. No, I
20.
have one right
Give me a
now. No,
second.
I
It
have one right here
says
that says 0 to 2
Scientific
weeks.
American
Well,
Windows
let me
So
look
which
it
Consensus
one
up.
do we
What's it
Some
called?
believe?
scientists
What's
believe
it called?
We,
that it's 20
give me a second. It
2024.
says
Some between that believes that it beyond
Scientific America,
conception.
Windows
Some
Consciousness,
believe that
arise.
it's
Some
30 to
scientists
32
believe
weeks.
that it's
It's
between
just
20 to
saying some.
24
It's
weeks.
just saying
Some
some.
between
I
that
don't know which
believes
one to
that
believe.
it's
So
beyond
what are we
conception.
supposed to do?
Some believe
We're
that it's
supposed to
30 to
err on the
32
side of what?
weeks. It's just saying some. It's just saying some. I don't know which one to believe. So what are
No,
we
so
supposed to
that's
do?
your
We're
personal.
supposed
No,
to
that's
err on the
fine.
side of what?
You personally want to. If there's no
I say
consensus,
20
you
weeks
personally
is
want to err on that side. So those are
No,
honest
so
enough to
that's
say
your
don't know.
personal. No, that's
Look,
fine.
I'm
But
honest
you
enough to say
personally
I don't
want
know.
to.
Are you
If
honest
there's no
enough to say you
consensus,
don't
you
know?
personally
That's your
want to err on that
personal
side. So let's be
preference.
honest about that. We don't know. Look. I'm honest enough to say I don't know. Are you honest enough to
So
say you
I didn't
don't
make a
know?
claim, but
That's
I'm
your
saying I'm
personal
honest enough to
preference.
say. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
Sorry, state the claim one more time.
So I didn't make a claim, but I'm saying I'm
One
honest enough
second
to
to cut
say.
you off.
Oh, sorry. Go
Sorry,
ahead, man. Sorry.
Nini or Nini, how old are you?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. I didn't state my age. I didn't state my age. I'm 28. I'm
No.
sorry.
That's
I
a
didn't state my
child.
age. I'm sorry.
Also, I have to leave in
Oh,
8
sorry.
minutes.
Sorry,
So,
I've
sorry,
seen
guys.
your
I
young.
didn't state my age. I didn't state my age. I'm 28. I'm sorry. I didn't state
Yeah,
Oh,
my
we
age.
it's
Yeah,
know.
you're
We
good.
know.
I'm
As long as you're
22, by
over
the way.
18. She
That's
just,
fine.
I thought she was
I
underage,
just
so I wanted to make
Also,
sure.
just so y'all don't think I'm
I'm
trying to
just
dip
really
out
curious about this.
for any reason, I have to leave in 8 minutes. So
Male
That's
just
all
That's
supremacy
good.
fine.
fascinating.
Oh,
You're all
I
good.
just have one more
Understandable.
argument.
You guys really
I'm just
fascinate me
really
because
curious
where I
about
come
this.
from, part of the world we
yeah,
live
go
No,
ahead.
I love it.
you cannot be
Male
male and
liberals
actually be
fascinate
liberal
me.
because the
Like
world will
really,
actually
you guys really
teach you how
fascinate
it
me
runs.
because where I come from,
You
part of
guys
the world, we
fascinate
know
me.
that you
I'm
cannot
a
be
athlete
male
as
and
well.
actually be liberal because the
I'm
world
from
will
Jamaica.
actually teach you how it runs. But you guys fascinate me.
I
Like
just have this one.
I'm
Where are
an
you
I'm
from,
athlete
trying
if
to
you
as
don't
transition
mind
to
me
well.
sports. I'm an
asking?
athlete.
I'm from
I'm just doing
Jamaica.
it for the fun of it.
Jamaica
I'm
sick. Okay.
transition to sports.
Yeah, so I just have this one. How do you feel about trans in sports? I'm an athlete. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. How do you feel about trans in sports?
There are, if you look at the NCAA, there's 10
But that's
trans
fine. You didn't answer my
athletes
question. I just
out
want
of,
to,
I think it was
want
like
the scope of the issue. I just want to
510,000.
know what's
I
your
think it is
personal
such a small
viewpoint on it.
issue
But that's fine. You didn't answer my question.
But you have a
I
strong
don't care
opinion
about
about like
the scope of the
1% of
issue. I just want to know
abortions.
what's your personal
I don't have
viewpoint on it.
I don't have a strong opinion.
But you have a strong opinion
I
about
just
like
want
What's
to
your
1% of
give me any
opinion?
opinion
abortions.
you have on
What's
it.
your
Doesn't
weak
have to be big or
opinion?
small. Your opinion
Men do not
adds
belong in
or
women's
small.
spaces. Period.
What's your weak opinion?
You and I
Noah?
don't belong in women's
I
spaces.
just want to know. Just give me any opinion you have on it. It doesn't have to be big or small. I have opinion on ants. Ants are small.
Facts.
Again, in
I
general,
fucking
Facts.
love ants.
I think if you look today at trans athletes, they're not absolutely dominating in their sports. I think as long as you set a fair
Trans apologist.
okay, as long as you set a fair standard, then it should be
What's a
based
fair
off that.
standard?
A fair standard would be disqualifying men from women's basketball. Would you not agree with that?
That's a, is that the
Hey,
argument you're trying to make?
if I played in women's basketball, I would fucking lose. So
And
But we're not asking that.
is that the argument you're trying to make?
if I
think
tried
we
to
should
play
agree.
in the WNBA,
Noah.
then I would not do very
Yes.
We're
well.
not asking that. Nobody was
So-
asking.
You're
That's
not
what-
in
that's
the,
what I'm
but you're not
asking.
in
I'm
the
asking you.
NBA, are you, Noah? These are people
Sorry,
who
say
are
that
dedicating
again.
their lives to basketball. Men who are dedicating their lives to basketball, and then women who are doing the same thing. If they go into the same sport, what would happen? I'm not talking about you, a person who I would assume, of saying this, you have no experience in basketball, as opposed to a WNBA professional. Even an NBA professional versus a WNBA professional, the man would not dominate. I mean, the man would dominate, correct?
Of course. So if you set a fair standard of the
So
difference,
are you
whether it
implying that the
be
standard
by
before
hormone
was fair?
levels or by muscle
Hormone
mass
levels.
or by whatever you want, then then you can.
So are you implying that the standard
Okay, so if you
before
were to
was
set the
fair?
standards by hormone levels, muscle mass, lung capacity, a bunch of other things too. Also the pelvic bone structure as well,
Sure,
which we know
sure,
is
sure,
largely
sure.
women as
And
opposed to men.
biological women. Exactly.
if you set those standards, you will find yourself where there will be biological men in one category
And biological women
in the other category. So
Exactly.
why not instead of investigating each standard and seeing if each applicant meets every box, just say men here, women here? Wouldn't that be easier?
Of course, it would be easier, but I don't think it would necessarily.
So you don't.
I also
you're a
refute the
scientist
fact that
does not
trans
believe
women
in
are men
biological
and
reality.
that trans men are women.
So you
No,
don't.
gender and
All right.
sex
So
have always
you're a
been
scientist that
synonyms.
does not believe in biological reality.
Yes,
Yeah, you don't believe in
The difference
biological
between
studied
gender
this
and
extensively.
sex.
It was from John
No,
Money
gender and
I
sex have
mean,
there
always
is no
been
difference.
synonyms.
No, they're different. They're 100%
Yes,
different.
no,
No,
no.
no.
I actually did study this extensively. It was from John Money and what's his name? Albert
John Money,
Kinsey.
that's true.
They, yeah,
Yep.
Albert Kinsey.
Well,
They came up with it and separated it. Before them,
Yep.
it has always
And
been
also
synonymous.
that,
And
and
in
also
every
the
country
guy,
in the world, it
and
is
also
synonymous.
the guy who coined the term cisgendered. He
He
did. It's John Monet. He did a study on those two twins, and it found out that he
Yeah, he cut off one of them. He was the split
sexually
twins.
abused them, and both of them
Mhm.
went on later in life to unalive themselves.
Yep.
So I don't think he would be
'Cause he found out.
a good idol for this.
Okay, again, I don't
And
have a
we
strong
can
opinion.
defend
I
the
obviously.
rights of minority groups whilst also accepting that they're biologically male or female as they were born. Like we can protect someone's like right to not be attacked in the street whilst also accepting
Exactly.
the fact that
Yeah,
you
but we
are
already
male.
do that though. That's the point. We already do that. The laws already do that.
One question I want to ask him.
Yes, and if you allow men in women's spaces, you're then
No.
taking away the women's rights.
Try.
No,
Wait,
Still be
one
attacked.
question I want to ask him. He said it dominates.
So
Try.
Yes,
Do you have-
men
do-
men
yeah,
men
do-
dominate
no.
women's sports, obviously.
No, I'm saying no. He said that they don't, but let's say. So do.
But he's full of shit if
is
he's
the
saying
only-
that.
No,
He's
that's
full of
fine.
shit, isn't he?
Even if I
Show
don't
me
dominate, can I
one
injure
trans
women?
athlete that is absolutely fucking dominating.
I can
in their
show you
sport.
many. I'm a sports athlete. That's
I
besides
can't
the
name off the top of my
point.
head, but I will.
But that's besides the point.
I don't know of a
No,
single
no.
one.
Isn't there a
No, just because they dominate, they don't dominate. Because I can grant you that they don't dominate. But just because they don't dominate, are they not able to injure women in these sports as well?
I play sports. I play football.
You're able to get
And I
injured
can
by
tell you,
men or women. I think that.
Who
that
is more likely to injure who? I play sports. I play football. And I
Okay.
can tell you,
I knew that
a woman is way less likely. Let's
Tiffany
remember, we're
Albright, Molly
scientists here.
Campton,
Probably.
J.C. Cooper, Michelle Dumarask,
I knew that
Laura
there's a
Hubbard,
lot,
Jamie
but I
Hunter,
could even
Veronica
grant it.
Ivy, Austin Kiplins, Lana Lawless, Jenna Langwood, Victoria Monaghan, Tiffany Newell, Valentina Petrillo, Ren Powell, Natalie Ryan, Juniper Simmons, CC Tefler, Lee.
Are you just
Leah
naming
Thomas,
trans athletes?
Yeah, no,
or-
yeah,
Lee
they're
Van
just naming
Gogh.
trans athletes that
these,
dominate
these
and
are
they won.
these are ones. No, these are ones who have won record-breaking titles. Kate Weatherly, Chelsea Wolfe.
And
That's it.
that's a problem with liberal
Okay,
ideology. You
I'll
can't-
I don't have a strong stance on this. I mean,
Because
okay,
Oh,
they shouldn't have been.
And that's the problem with liberal ideology. You guys can't hold strong stances on anything.
No, I'm
Because
just
you
not
have
as
to
informed.
constantly-
Would
have
you
to
agree with
constantly
the-
change.
I'm just not as
Do you agree
informed.
with the feminist movement?
Not strongly, but in general.
Okay, the original feminist movement that was supposed to be about equal rights, not the modern day feminist that's like, let's have men dominate our sports, our careers,
I don't
and
know
our
enough.
spaces.
I don't know enough about it to have an intellectual debate about it. I just
But you
that's
are.
fine.
But you
That's
have
just very not. I think that's
But you're
like the
having
opposite
one.
of equality, right?
yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously a difference between equality and equity. I think there should be equity, not necessarily equality.
No, first of all, those are two false concepts. There's no such thing as equality on earth. I don't know where we got this concept from. Everybody is born with their own inherent attributes. The only way you can achieve equality is by manually molding systems to fit your narrative. There's no such thing as equality.
Equity.
You're going to give a person
Even
a
equity,
bigger
there's the same
box.
thing. It's just a step above. Only way you can achieve equity is by it's basically the box thing. You're gonna give a person
No,
a
please,
bigger box.
please don't go about thinking that equality and equity are
Not the same.
They
Yeah,
are not
but I'm
synonymous.
just
They're
explaining.
very different
I'm explaining
things.
to them.
It's very
Equity
dangerous
is-
to think that these two words are synonymous because they're not.
They're not.
Yeah.
Equality and
No,
equity are
but-
different.
but the thing about
It's
no,
the equality
basically you're
of
saying
outcomes versus
equity.
equality of outcomes.
So you want equality for that's what I'm saying, outcomes. So you're saying
Opportunity, not
I work
outcome.
harder and I have inherent attributes that make me better, you're going to give the other person that doesn't work as hard or doesn't have those attributes equivalent force to enable that they reach my level, correct? That is basically what equity is.
I wouldn't say with working harder. I would say with.
Let's say they have some form of debilitating condition. You're going to give them special treatment to make sure that they can reach up to my level, right?
Sure.
But you just
do you realize how inherently that is basically communism, bro?
Okay.
What is it?
I don't agree with communism. I agree with socialism.
But you just brought to the ideology. What are you talking about?
Also,
Troy, what is it? What
you know what communism is,
Troy,
right?
what is it? Wait, give me a second now. Troy, do you remember the Communist Manifesto to each on his own, according to each will or something like that?
I've read a lot of parts of Das Kapital.
Yeah. Do you realize how destructive that system is?
It is. It really is.
You should do things based on
the notion.
meritocracy.
The notion that ownership is theft I think is absurd.
I'm not a communist. I don't.
Troy, you just brought, but Troy, I don't think you really understand these ideological concepts because you basically agreed with it and then you said you are not for it just because I mentioned the name.
Yep.
Look, there's no Troy.
You know what?
It's the same concept, though.
Look, shit.
There's
okay,
no
guys,
Troy.
I gotta head out.
Okay, bye now. You got train to catch?
It was good talking to you guys.
Yeah, you too.
That's not to you.
Bye, everybody.
They're really interesting.
We're on a train to catch.
Troy, that was fun because being liberals fascinate me because we don't have much of them on my side of the world. That is, they're really interesting. Yeah, they're funny.
You know what? It's actually it's really good getting a perspective from someone who's you're from Jamaica. Did you say?
Yeah, I live in the US though. I'm from Jamaica.
Yeah. No, but like what I find is in countries like Jamaica, they have
I don't even consider
really strong like right-leaning social values. But
I don't even consider it right-leaning. It's just how the world is.
Yeah, no, but like they get like a lot of things right when it comes to like family values. Like if you go to like also like a lot of places in Africa as well. You'd find the same thing, which is they get a lot of things right over there.
Well, to be fair, we have a high single mother problem here as well, but the satanic worship and the liberal ideologies. The thing about it, the poorer you get and the poorer you get and the worse things become, you have to face reality the more. You can't hide from it. And such poorer countries have to face reality as it is. We don't get first world problems. You have to look at it what it is and not what you wish to be, because even the concept of equality, anybody with a half a brain knows we are all born different. Very, very different. Most humans are completely different. Just like how you're building a house. There's no such thing as a really flat piece of land. You have to mow that land to become flat. And as such, you mow land to become flat, you're destroying other aspects of the land, and you're also disenfranchising other persons. So the entire concept of equality was false on its premise.
Wow.
There's no such thing as equality.
Okay. The only meaningful thing is to prevent discrimination, but like you don't really need to go too far beyond that. Don't allow people to like actively harm people based on who they are.
Equality of what?
I don't know. That's the thing, because if we break down philosophically, there's no equality.
You mean politically, socially? What do you mean?
What we mean based off the law?
I don't even think.
Look. I believe in political equality. I don't believe necessarily. I don't believe in social equality. I don't believe that we should treat everybody the same. Especially with the gender divide, I think we should like with the women issue, for example. I think we should honor and protect women in society. I don't think that we should be treated differently in politics. I think we should have the right to vote, all the same. We shouldn't be treated differently in any politics too, but in society I do agree that we should be treating men and women differently.
But I think those are moral duties, not really social.
Well, it depends what you mean by equality, because that's my point with
that's what I'm saying. But people think of equality more of like the secular view of equality, because like I think when people say equality, it's really political.
If you don't mind me interrupting, what's the topic here?
That's a great question.
We were just talking about stuff because we're just talking about content.
I don't know what we're talking about right now, but Grant, how old are you and what's your stance?
I'm 18.
Okay.
Are you pro-life or pro-choice?
I'm pro-choice. I mean
Okay.
life. Sorry.
Oh. Pro-life, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. So you agree with the statement above Troy's head, I assume. That's fine. Alright, so it's up to Troy again, I guess, whether he wants to bring up a pro-choicer. Unless you have anything specific you wanted to discuss. Sant is pro-life, they say. So.
And then what about Minzilk, however you say it, in the bottom right below Crux?
I'm pro-life.
How old are you? And you're pro-life too?
Yep.
Okay, let me see if there's any. Is Aaron? He was in here the other. Hello.
Yeah, I'm back. I had to leave.
How old is he?
How old are
I
you?
don't know, wait. Well, sometimes we ask questions and we don't always get answers. So.
Okay.
Aaron, how old are you?
I'm 18.
And what's your stance?
Aaron! Hello.
Aaron, are you in the room?
Hey, sorry. I was lagging out. Sorry.
We can probably discuss something
Okay.
else.
So Rick.
I'm pro-life.
Okay.
A lot of pro-life. We can probably discuss something else. What?
Troy,
We
you
could do
pick
infighting,
who to-
but
Who's pro-life?
Yeah. All
Is
of us.
everybody here pro-life? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
everybody.
move something. Sorry.
Yeah.
Remember,
It's
liberals
just
don't like
too
to be
many.
without the mute button. Like, you go on
Okay,
their
cool.
spaces when you start
All right,
destroying
we could
them.
do an infighting special.
That's a
It could
live
be wild.
debate in
What-
person.
1v1.
Remember, liberals don't like to debate without the mute button. You know, if you go on their spaces, when you start destroying their points,
He
you
just
mute
said
them.
he's
They don't
That's
like.
why I
Okay,
love
any
debate in
pro-choicers?
person.
Sorry, any pro-choicers? Please request a box. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Rick.
He just said he's pro-choice. Minex.
Who's Jan?
Like,
I thought he was just on here. He said he
He
was.
said
Yeah,
he
you
was
just said
pro-life.
pro-life.
Why'd you guys kick me?
Because you
You
said you were
you were
pro-life.
pro-life, and we had enough.
Yeah, we
That
have
was
too
on the
many
thing.
pro-life.
I could have sworn I said pro. Alright, I could have sworn I said pro-choice.
Freudian slips happen, you know. It's okay. We move forward.
Hell no.
Someone asked me a question. When the technology is available, would I give birth to the baby?
hell no.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't really trust this technology to deliver my child. No, I would do it. I would do it the orthodox way.
But they can like technology
Also,
can like
what
drive a
would you
car
be-
too. So
What would you be doing to my body? Like, there's stuff in
Yeah,
the way, to be
They're
blunt.
asking if
Like,
they
where are
can-
you
I'm
putting
not
that?
even thinking about it on a body.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys don't even have a uterus.
No,
That's my point.
they're saying,
But I'm saying if
asking
the
if it
technology
was possible.
wait, but there's
I'm
like
kidding.
self-driving cars. So why isn't there
Yeah, I don't really like those
self-driving
ones.
But
babies?
let's assume.
I don't really like
let's
those
go on
either.
the contingent.
Medical
Yeah.
technology is advanced, but it's not that advanced. Like,
No, but let's assume.
It was a
Let's go on the
hypothetical.
contingent.
It was when it was the hypothetical.
Yeah,
If there was the tech that would allow a man to conceive and gestate, would I participate? And my answer would be no, absolutely not.
no, what the heck? That's
What if I
There's-
paid you?
But it's not just if it's
not
available. You know, there's
natural.
some
Your
things-
bodies will never be able to. Just so we're
Yeah.
clear, like
Yeah,
your bodies
but let's say-
will never be able to.
Let's say that we could though. Let's say we could. There's a difference between if we could and we should, and we as humans, especially as scientists,
No, I wouldn't
struggle with
abort.
that.
I just wouldn't. No, I
No,
wouldn't.
I know.
abort.
What
What do you?
said
No,
that
no,
was-
no, no. Okay, no. I'm sorry. No, no.
He's
this
responding
guy,
to chat. Sorry, not you.
Yeah,
He didn't mean to
this
interrupt.
guy. This guy is saying that my answer means then I would be pro-choice, but for men, that's not true. I say I just
No.
wouldn't get pregnant. How would that even work? Like, what?
That's fine. You
You
know,
have to
I don't
replace
know,
the
twist
male
the
with
male
one of my
body.
reproductive organs, and that would be just a transitioning. I just wouldn't do that, would I?
I'm not here
You
for
asked me what I-
destroying the
what I-
male body. Like,
Yeah.
You're
So
gonna
you're
you're
asking
gonna
me-
develop the baby in your sack.
there's a difference between that. If we can and we should do something, and we have lost that. Let's think about it that just because we can do something, that doesn't mean that we should. Then that's a
Exactly.
problem we struggle with. Like even when I was little, I wanted to know everything, and the more I knew, the more I said, "Damn,
That's so true.
maybe I should not want to
Okay.
know this."
That's so true what you just said. Freedom is not the ability to do whatever we want. It's the ability.
I have a problem with rights because we have replaced rights with duties. When we had a more dutiful society, we know that it's our duty to do this and that. It were more conducive and more organized. Rights are nebulous. We get it and
this
there's
and
no
that,
sense of
it
appreciation
were more
for rights
conducive and
because
more
we don't have to
organized.
work for it. It's not
Rights are
given. So
nebulous.
nobody's gonna
Whereas we
appreciate it.
get it and there is
nobody's
no
gonna
sense
do
of
what
appreciation for rights
actually
because we
honor
don't
them.
have to work for
We
it.
should
It's not
replace rights
given.
with duties.
So nobody's
I have
gonna
a duty to
appreciate
look out
it.
for you.
And nobody's gonna do what it takes to
Duties are
actually
more
honor
important
that.
than rights.
We should replace
It's
rights with duty. I have a duty to look out for you. You have a duty to look out for me.
yeah, it's so
Duties are
interesting that
more
you say
important
that.
than rights.
Because the way I always understood rights is my obligation to protect someone else's rights. So it's interesting you say that, because I definitely agree.
No,
Because
it's
when
a
I hear
No,
someone's
that's a
right to life, I
right.
see it
So
as my obligation to
yeah, that's what I'm
protect
trying
their
to say.
life.
Rights really
And
don't
like, I
exist
definitely
especially
agree
because
more with the
rights
duties
vary from
angle.
country
Like,
to
it,
country.
no,
it,
it's a
it does
duty.
lean more towards
Rights
cohesion.
don't. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Rights really don't exist, especially because rights
Most
vary
countries
from
even
country to
sign
country,
off on human
civilization to
rights.
civilization. If
I wonder if most
the
people
Geneva
realize that. I think it
Convention
was
was
like
like
80 countries.
1948, most
And
countries
then
even
they
sign
spread
off
those
on
rights
human
out
rights.
that they decided on every
I
other
wonder if
country and
most
every
people
other
realize that. I think it
civilization.
was like 20 countries,
We had duties
and then
and
they
duties
spread
ground
those
us.
rights
Rights don't
that
ground
they
us.
decided on every other country and every other civilization. We had duties, and duties grounded us. Rights don't ground us.
Well, but like rights could still be good, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be like automatically bad. I mean, looking at the Geneva
Ooh.
Convention, an example
To
that
be-
you have given,
Yeah.
it's like the basic human rights are a great thing, a good thing even.
And
The
to be
bad thing
fair,
is that it
rights
isn't getting translated, you know. That's the
rights
problem.
are in
Yeah,
fact
and
the
what
obligation
have
of the
we learned
state
about
to
the state
protect
from
you. So in
all
some ways
human
they are
history?
still obligations, but simply placed upon the state.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what have we learned about the state from all of human history?
That the state can always be trusted, Uwu, and
Exactly.
has never done anything wrong.
And that's the problem, right?
Alright, that's true. No, but,
Exactly.
but like,
Yeah.
but like
And that's the problem
there's-
with rights.
yeah. But there's like I wouldn't say that it's like a problem with
Well-
rights, but moreover like a problem with the way
The thing
they're
about it is-
being executed, if you'd ask me.
the thing about it
I
is
Yeah,
mean,
and the state
Well-
should be obliged
If I
to
look at-
protect your rights. Like certain right, there are
The thing
certain things
about
the
it
state
is-
should be obliged to
Let's say
protect.
the thing about
The thing about it is that, you know,
There's
even if I look on, I look on rights more from a Christian purview, but let's say the thing about it, that's the only other way you can look on rights to give it great moral foundation. Because we look at it on a secular basis. Do you have the right to own a gun? That's a right. Most people throughout history didn't even have the right to life. Your right is what you can defend. So
We
if
co-opt
I
the state
decide,
to defend
if I have used, that's not the point. That's the state is just an enforcement mechanism. So rights and laws are only as strong as the force mechanism, and that makes it a systematic basis. And those systems change based off their interests. But if we have
Yes,
duties,
exactly.
moral
There's an-
duties and
yeah,
moral
exactly.
foundations, those don't change.
But that's the whole problem with rights generally in the way they are treated right now, because then we have like a state that has its own interests and like literally 20 kilometers further into another country, they have like a whole another set of rights, interests, and
Exactly.
therefore, so does it make the other rights less rights? No, like
No,
this-
but
these are like the-
but
exactly.
now we have a problem. Now we have a
Exactly.
problem with
Exactly.
delineation, and that's a problem. Remember, you know, the term I learned this like last week, and it made so much sense. The term heresy comes from the Latin word choice. Humans do not do well with unlimited choice and subjectivity. It does not work because the thing about it is that if you look at the population, like poor people have more kids than smarter people. That's how it's always been the case.
Then
So the
smarter or
population.
richer?
Whoa.
No, smarter people. People with higher IQs, poor people typically have less kids than people with higher IQs. And as such, the population will always be dumber than, there will always be more dumb people in the population than smart people. And if
Let's
you
leave
look
the
at
pause
why
rights
is
as
that?
a
Why is
system,
Why is that?
because poor people have more kids and low IQ people tend to have more kids.
Right there, we have to distinguish between correlation and causality.
But I'm not making a correlation or causation either. I'm making an implicit fact-based argument.
No,
So based
no,
off that,
this is
but based off
exactly,
that,
exactly. Of course, you can state that fact. I'm not arguing the fact. I'm just arguing the implication that go from on with the fact. You know.
yeah,
Like,
but
you can
you
just
haven't
say,
heard
you
my
can just sit here
implication.
and say you can sit here and say poor people have more kids and those kids have less IQ. I'd say okay, fine by
Okay,
me.
sorry. Alright, I
Maggie.
can specify if you want. Well, alright, I say dumber people typically tend to have more kids than poor people. So, and that's why even the founding fathers set up their document that we're not a general democracy. Because democracies, if you look through history, have always failed because it always results in the tyranny of the populace. And as such, if we have more dumb people making rules for more smart people, the
Yes,
population would
yes,
eventually
yes.
destroy
Of course,
destroy
yeah, of
itself.
course. Okay.
That's what that's the
Yeah,
argument I
okay,
was trying to
okay,
make.
okay.
Yeah.
I can live with the fact, definitely. But then we have to look at where these dumb people, like, why are people dumb? You know, we have to look at the causality right now. Why are
Because
people
some of
becoming
it is
so dumb?
hereditary, some of it is access, but that's a fact. There are a lot
Yeah,
of
so what would you
reasons.
say? What would you say? Like that's the more interesting part, you know? Like,
Me,
what would you
I
say?
think
Yeah, exactly.
I think intelligence is very hereditary. Can you measure it in effort? Yes, but most people will not put out that effort.
Okay, so is it the problem that we cannot solve? Let me ask you this that way.
No, it can be solved. Everything can be solved, but it's the will to
Okay.
solve it, and most people don't have the will to solve it. We have
Alright, the
we
will
have
to solve it. Okay.
microcomputers in our hands, and people are still dumb. We
Okay.
have this the phones that we have in our hands right now are more powerful than the computer that we used to send the first moon landing on NASA, and people are
Definitely.
still
Yeah.
dumber.
Yes.
Yes, Sarah.
People are still dumber.
Yeah. Right. And
So the will is not there. And if
the
the
will
will
is
is
not
not
there,
there,
alright,
it doesn't
right.
matter any other implications. The other
landing
implications
mistake.
don't matter.
Based.
Yeah.
We didn't have a debate about the moon landing.
And why
They
is
think I'm
the
crazy
why is the will not there?
Jay, did you say base to me?
Yeah, he said based to you. I think.
Okay, period. Yeah, they
I've
don't
never
believe
debated.
me, but the moon landing was
I've never
fake.
debated the moon landing or anything. I don't know, but I just never seen. I never see the point of it. If it's real, if it's fake, it doesn't really affect my life in any way. But there have been 6 subsequent moon landings. But I do.
I wonder if it was real or fake. Like, what do you guys think? Was the
No,
moon landing real?
I think
I really don't
if it's
care.
fake,
I
it's one of the
don't give a
greatest
fuck.
conspiracies
Oh.
ever, because that
Don't
means
give a fuck
every
about
country. That means every country had to plan and agree to fake that thing. And there's been 6
It's not
subsequent moon
fake.
landings from that time. So if it's
It's
fake,
not
which is a
fake.
possibility,
It's not
that means all the countries,
No.
enemies countries, the Soviet Union, China, all had to agree to fool everyone.
Exactly.
And I don't know if that's feasible, but it could be. I'm not sure.
No, it's just not
No,
real.
we as Americans staged it.
But
Yes.
Fool
China
everyone
agreed
else.
that we
So
beat
it's
them,
known that you
and
did
the Soviet
that.
Union also agreed that we beat them. So why would they admit defeat? That's what I'm wondering. Why would they admit defeat?
And also, you
That's
were talking about
that broke their national pride. Why would they?
You would have never known,
risk?
in that time period, they would have never known that it would have been fake.
But there have been 6 subsequent moon landings after the Neil Armstrong. So all
We can
those are fake
literally,
too.
Sarah, we can literally see the remnants of the lunar excursion module on the moon surface right now. From the first page.
The initial moon landing was fake. I said what I
So
said.
are the
We can literally
initial one was fake?
We can
Are the
literally see
subsequent
the
ones
descent
fake?
module still on the moon. The descent module is still there, along with the flag.
So what about the
along
other
with the
6?
flag and the retroreflector? Okay.
But I can even grant that. No, but Troy, we can even grant that. So the 6 other ones are fake too. Remember, I really don't have a position. That means the 6 other ones are fake.
And different countries as well.
Because
No.
remember, we didn't go to the moon once, you know, we went to the moon 7 times. And different countries as well.
Well, we're going back in the next 4 years too.
Well, I don't know. Remember, it doesn't really matter to me if it's fake or not. You know, but I'm just, the arguments for it fake is just not, for it being fake is just not compelling to me. That's what, if I had compelling arguments that why it's fake, I would like, okay, cool. But it's just not compelling to me because I have so many. I'm not sure.
There is no compelling argument to think that it's fake.
Because that means governments all over the world had to conspire to say, okay, you lost, I won. And they spent trillions of dollars.
USSR.
But like, is the moon even real?
The USSR literally have literally verified that they were real. And that they did happen.
Fake.
the
Not
most
fake.
prominent
But
flat earthers to the
Flat Earth has been proven to be fake like last week because they carried the most prominent Flat Earthers to
But they
the
just proved it wrong.
North
So
Pole,
what
and
they
it has a
did,
The flat
24-hour
Earth,
sun, so they had to concede.
Earth is flat. It's not round.
The
But
Earth
they
is a
just proved it
turtle.
wrong. That's what they proved it
It's
wrong
just
2 weeks
rage bait.
ago.
Rage bait. It's just rage bait at this point. Rage
It might
bait.
be rage bait. It might be rage
Yeah,
bait.
no, she's rage
Yeah,
baiting,
flat
but like
earthers are
they
dumb.
literally.
Even the people that say that it's in the Bible or whatever, it's not in the Bible.
I'm not even saying that they're
No
dumb.
one is saying
Isaiah
that.
40:22.
There are some of
Isaiah
them.
40:22. The earth
What
is
does it
curved.
say?
Isaiah 40:22. The earth is curved.
I'm not even
Hold
saying
up.
it,
When the
it
Earth is
fake.
curved.
Isaiah 40:22. The earth is curved.
But
Pull it up.
wait,
Pull it
why
up.
is it that
Pull it up,
I never
Jamie.
understood the
Pull it
flat
up.
earth debate. It doesn't change your
Pull
life
up.
any way
Well,
you take it, and
but
it's
wait,
just proven to be fake.
why
I'll
is
do
there
the
such a
animation.
debate? I've never understood the Flat
Because
Earth debate.
the
It doesn't
North Pole
change your
has a
life any
24-hour
way you
sun.
take it, but
The most
and it's
prominent
Yeah.
just
flat
proven to
earthers
be
Exactly.
carry them
fake.
there and pay for their trip, and they saw the
Because
24-hour
the
sun.
North Pole has a
So
24-hour
unless
sun.
they
They took
sell,
the most
unless
prominent
they
Flat
sell
Earthers and
out, like
carried
they
them
sold
there
out,
and
and
paid for their
Yes.
trip, and they saw the 24-hour sun.
You're
Yeah,
So
literally
but
unless
me.
I'm not gonna say
unless
flat
they
earthers
sell
are
out,
dumb because
they
some of them
sold
have
out. I don't
really
know.
great
Possible.
innovative minds. They
okay,
might have a
let's
dumb
just move
theory.
on.
I'm not saying
I'm not
that
gonna
they're
say
dumb
flat
because
earthers
some
are
are
dumb
actually
because some of them
quite
are
They
intelligent.
really
are.
great innovative minds. They might have a dumb theory. I'm not saying that they're dumb because some of them are actually quite
Yeah,
bright.
Whoa.
yeah, definitely.
Hi, Aaron. Oh, she left.
Wait, I have a question. Wait, I have a question for the chat.
Yeah, the man is mashing the keyboard.
You type so aggressively.
Yeah, the man is mashing the keyboard.
Oh, Aaron's back. Hello, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
What's your age, and are you flat Earth or round Earth?
No, oh, come on now.
No.
This is an abortion debate.
We'll do the flat Earth later, okay?
I mean, I also have like a question about abortion, right? Why exactly would abortion be
Birth
such a
rates.
huge
It could be
issue
birth rates, could be
in
moral.
our
No, I
society
can
right
give you
now?
3 reasons.
And why is it
Birth
such a
rates,
huge topic?
moral
Birth rates.
obligation.
It could be birth rates. Could
Birth
be
rates.
moral. No. I can give you 3 reasons. Birth
Okay,
rates,
okay, go.
moral obligation.
Moral
I don't want to
obligation.
shotgun it, but I'm just gonna give you like 3. Birth rates,
Okay,
moral
okay.
obligation,
Yeah.
and also basically I'll stay with 2. Birth rates and moral obligation. We can just stay with
Okay.
those 2 for now.
Okay. So like we have like a decline in birth rate, especially in the Western countries. And if we would ban abortion, this problem would be solved, you'd say, or at least
No, I
not
didn't
as
say solve.
huge.
It would be severely lessened. Yes.
Okay. But then, are we talking about like abortion generally, or are we talking about like abortion in some cases?
No, depends on the cases, but yeah, generally.
Okay. So like, let's just say you would have like, I'm just going with the typical argument. You know, everyone has heard it. If like a person would get raped, for example, and
Still,
then they
no.
would have to
No
carry out the
exception.
baby.
You do not mask one evil with the next.
Okay. But looking at the child's life, I'd say, like the life of the mother in general, and all these other factors such as financial.
Alright, we can go to the child's life. Alright, the child's life and the mother. Okay, let's
Okay,
first of
go.
all, if a mother, let's say a mother has 2 kids at home, right? She's
Okay.
walking on the street and she gets essay that really destroys her mental state. But she has a right to go home and unalive her children.
No.
Exactly, it's the same reason we do not match one wrong with the next.
So in this
The
case,
child's life.
yeah,
No,
of
the
course.
thing about the child's life, we have other options. The child can carry that baby, and we can put it up for adoption. The adoption list has 2 million active parents that want to adopt people on the waiting list. Every child that gets put up on adoption when they are just born gets adopted. The problem occurs when the children are put in the adoption or the foster care system later. That's where the problem occurs. So we can save that life and also preserve that life for the child. And who knows, the child may want to meet its parent one day, or the parent may want to meet the child. But if we end that, we end the opportunity or the possibility of that happening.
The stats for the adoption is 36 families per newborn
Yeah,
being
see,
born.
yeah.
Family.
Of course, yeah.
And the life of the
So,
mother, that rarely happens. Like because the technology is so advanced right now. Like I don't like it's so rare. Every time you see cases of the mother died because of abortion or something, it's either always some extenuating factors like sepsis, malpractice, or she tried to take abortion pill and it missed, or it
very much determined on your weight and your age. If you read the box, even with Plan Bs are supposed to be used 3 times per year, and it loses effectiveness if you're obese.
Plan Bs are supposed to be used 3 times per year, and it loses effectiveness if you're obese. These have and as such, lots of consequences come if you.
So that's the reason. So if the life of the mother, it's the strongest argument, but because of how rarely it occurs,
If the life of the mother,
the child will still have to be.
it's the strongest argument, but because of how rarely it occurs, and more than likely, the child will still have to. You still have to give birth to the child. You know it, right? You legit still have to give birth to the child. So there's no reason to kill the child. You can deliver that baby through a cesarean section and try to save that baby's life. The mother will not be affected.
Yeah, we're not, of course. But looking at like in this case, you are putting like a fetus as equal as a living child with own morals,
because it is a living
with
child.
own consciousness. But like now, like with the example that you've given, you'd have like a mother being S8 and then coming home and killing her already living, already born children that she has already taken care of. The children that have consciousness, the children that can feel emotions, Let's just say that there is definitely a difference between.
No. There's the only difference is that location. I give the same moral grounding and moral worth to both children because scientifically, I look at it through a scientific prism and then I back up it with my Christian philosophy or everything. But we know beyond a reasonable doubt that it's human being because only offspring that two human beings can produce is another human being. So we know that it's a human being. And we know that there are different methods of also dealing with it without unaliving that human being. And I also know as a scientist, we don't know where consciousness comes from or where it starts. And as such, I err on the sense of caution. I'm not going to take somebody's life if I don't have to, and we don't have to. And based off the percentage stats of abortion, most people don't have to. It's not because of the life and stuff. Most people do it because of socioeconomic wants and needs, and also just carelessness. That's the facts of it. And I do not believe in rewarding people for bad decisions or placating persons' bad decisions with moral evils. I just can't do it.
And looking at your point that you've made earlier on with like the human being, like a child is a child, the only difference is the location. Then what do you think about like Plan Bs or condoms or all these kind of things? What do you think about that?
Well, Plan Bs it depends on the type of birth control you're speaking of. Plan Bs, some of them have been shown to actually cause abortions, but in some cases, I'm not sure. I'm not really versed in the mechanism of it, but if it does cause abortions, then I would be against it as well. If it can be proven that it does cause abortions, it does cause abortions, then I would be against it as well. But condoms, there are barrier methods, so there's no implantation or fertilization of the egg. Some Catholics probably would have some problem with the spilling of the seed and stuff on that, but I'm not a Catholic, so I don't really have any more concern. Probably I could be wrong. I could be probably wrong on that theology. I will have to face
What do you want me to answer? I'm Catholic.
Oh, you're Catholic? Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
what do you want me to answer?
No, he was talking about condoms and barrier methods of like.
Oh yeah, no, you're not supposed to use any type of birth control in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, so.
Okay,
but then again, I feel like if you use birth control rather than abortion as birth control, I personally would rather have you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so why?
I guess there are degrees. Because you're not killing something.
Alright, so you're not killing something, right? So
no,
there's a difference. Is there a difference between preventing life and killing life?
Yes.
That's what I'm
Naked?
saying. The barrier method, the Catholic
Yes, but
theology
remember, you're not
is
preventing
Okay.
life.
between the seed, as
Mhm.
she said.
But with a condom, you are definitely preventing life.
That's what I'm saying. The barrier method, the Catholic theologists feel like there should be no
Okay,
spreading of the seed,
yeah.
as she said. But remember, our moral autism because it ends a human life. So we're talking
Yeah.
about everything occurs that after that, the conception of that human life. With Catholics, I
Yeah,
believe would
Archer,
agree with me.
the only reason we're against it is because it stops the natural biological process that God created us to do, right? But if you guys want to use that more than getting an abortion, I have no problem with it, because if you're going to be using that instead of unjustly murdering innocent babies, that's better than preventing a biological process, right?
Yeah, I think he's looking
Alright,
for
so
moral consistency. But like, let me give you my position. I look at women that have abortion as murderers
ooh,
because I'm morally consistent that way. In Jamaica, we call them walking cemeteries. They're morally shamed for it because you are a walking cemetery. You have changed. You have turned what God gave you to bring forth life into a graveyard.
okay, and what good does it do for the society? Shaming other women?
Shame is
Okay.
one of the greatest tools that we have to modify behavior. We cannot legalize or legislate everything. Shame and guilties are what
Shame is one thing,
society
but
strong.
Jesus Christ has also taught us to love.
Jesus Christ also taught about shame. He
Yes,
cursed
he
out
definitely did.
people that shame is a great tool.
Yes, of
Inquisition.
course.
And the thing
But it isn't
about
sustainable.
you just brought up Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was not a hippie,
Inquisition,
bro.
can I ask you something?
Yes.
Would you
What do you say?
consider an abortion at 9 weeks to be ending an innocent human life?
Yes, he is.
Yes, I'm a scientist. 96% of scientists believe that
Okay.
life begins as conception
Okay, cool. So how is it an innocent human life?
because he has not committed any crimes or sins.
Okay, so how exactly can you be innocent if you have no form of moral agency?
Ooh.
What do you mean no form of moral agency?
Okay, I'll just
remember
give you
the sin.
a perfect
No,
example.
the
That's
sins
a good
are
one, bro. That's a good one.
sins. Innocence
Yeah,
is
so-
determined by your actions. A child has not engaged in any action that would
Yeah,
be considered
I don't know.
sinful.
Wait, you're not understanding my question, right? It's not like the thing is you can't really be considered innocent or guilty if you have no form of moral agency. The same way a rock can be considered innocent or guilty.
I understand what you're saying. You're making a conscious argument in a roundabout way, but
No, I'm talking about moral agency.
Yeah, moral agency comes from your consciousness. Exactly. So you remember, I already conceded that, and scientists concede that we don't know when more consciousness starts. But you're talking about innocence. Innocence are derivative from your actions. So if I unalive somebody, I'm guilty of that because it's derived from my actions. All innocence and guilty is derived from your actions. There's no way to
exactly. You can be innocent or guilty. You can be innocent or guilty if you have no form to commit some innocent or guilty thing. Like that's what you're.
That's what I'm saying. You're making a consciousness argument. You're just making it a roundabout way, but we don't know when consciousness begins. And
Okay,
even if we know, let me level with you. Let me level with you. Even if we knew when consciousness begins, your argument on innocence would not change because the child has not engaged in any actions to make them
The
not
thing
innocent.
is, it has no moral agency. That's what you're not understanding. Even if you believe.
No, I'd say it's pretty conscious if it's growing itself. It just knows what it's at.
Why does development equal? Wait. Why does development equals consciousness? Do you think a developing cancer means it's conscious?
Bro, a cancer is not alive.
Yeah, but
Can't
that
you live
but
it still?
you just made the claim, right? Yeah, but you just made the claim, right, that if you're developing, you have some form of consciousness. So with this logic, I can just say cancer is conscious.
Yeah, I know, but even so, there's a delineation between a cancer and a human being. The biological functions are totally different. And
Okay,
let me just
spin.
Before you go, let me spin back to the moral agency part of it. You keep harking on moral agency, but you cannot distinguish moral agency from consciousness, and as such, we do not know when consciousness begins. And if I was to grant you that, premise, bro, it still would have changed the definition of innocence because the child has not engaged in anything, even if it was conscious, to be deemed as not innocent.
Yes,
One follows the other. One follows the other. It's a logical entailment. Only
Yeah,
way
so
I
in
can make,
concession,
only way I can make the child not innocent is engage in
okay,
an action that
okay,
made it
yeah,
guilty.
yeah, okay. In concession, before I continue with like the questions I'm asking you, what value do you hold to human life and why?
I didn't hear you. Can you restate the question? Sorry.
Okay, before I continue with like moral agency and trying to like flesh it out a bit more, what value do you hold to human life and why?
I hold value to human life
Good
because I
question.
believe humans have a higher moral duty to defend the species, proliferate, and we have a higher moral duty also to ensure the flourishing of the environment around us.
Yeah, so
And
where did you get? Yeah, so
we can only
where
do
did
that. We can only do that through the access of life. And if we have no
yes,
life, we can impart that on anyone.
yeah. So why is this necessary for human life to be supremely valuable?
Based off our moral cognitive functions.
Yeah, what's your
And the
moral
duty
cognitive function?
and
Are
the
you a moral
duties
realist?
that imparts on us.
Are you a moral realist?
I'm not a moral mover. I'm a Christian ethicist, and I'm also a moral objectivist.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you believe morals are objective, correct?
Yes.
Okay, where do you get your morals from? I believe it's from some sort of a higher mind, God.
My one would be a Christian ethics.
Okay,
But
Christian
you can use
ethics.
any you can use any form of religious ethic as well. You can
Yeah,
use
sure.
one of those.
Yeah, sure. So do you believe that your God is supremely moral and everything that he does is completely just?
As Christians, we follow the logos, which means God is logic and God is good. Yes.
Okay, okay. God is logic and God is good. If God were to right now tell you to grape your child, would you do it?
You're making a moral foundation. God is the logos and God is as such.
Okay,
He would not prescribe evil.
no,
You're
never.
making a logical.
It's not. It's
You're
not.
making an argument. No, the argument you're making, I've heard it made before. Can God make a rock that is heavy enough to lift?
I never
We as
said
Christians
that.
would
I
say
never
no.
said anything
I know
about
it's
a
the
rock.
same thing. No, I'm going to
No, it's
explain
not.
to you why it's the same thing because you're ascribing that why would God prescribe evil? It's the same thing as saying that God can make a rock that is heavy enough to lift. It's a
Well,
logical contradiction
Yeah,
because it's
it's not.
logically entitled.
Yeah, so this is the thing, Inquisition. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it can be like I'm pretty sure in your scripture and in your belief that it's pretty like blatant that God commanded the destruction of Sodom and whatever that thing was just due to the
Sodom and Gomorrah, which for sexual immorality and sin,
yes,
yes,
exactly. Yes, exactly. So why is that morally justifiable?
because they were engaging in sin.
Okay, so what sin was it?
Sexual immorality,
Yeah, what's sexual immorality?
sodomy.
Yeah, so why is
That's what
that
we subtract Sodom and
why is that morally incorrect?
because
We
God
can
said
say
so.
it's
God is the only instinct.
we can say morally incorrect, biologically incorrect, or we can go to all
I
of the
don't
incorrectness
care
of
if something
sodomy.
is biologically
No,
incorrect. I don't know why
No,
you
but
me.
that's morally incorrect because we are called to proliferate the species,
Rank
yeah,
me,
so
and
Troy.
sodomy does not
Oh
sodomy
wait,
does not ensure
it's
the
not
proliferation
loaded.
of the species. The
yeah, so
antinatalists.
yeah, so why does a scientific process mean that something has to be moral?
I didn't say that. I said I can go through why it's scientifically incorrect, morally incorrect, and
Yeah,
also
it can be.
theologically incorrect.
Yeah, I can agree it is scientifically incorrect, but that is not what I asked you. I asked you why it's morally incorrect. I don't care if something's
And
scientific.
I can restate it because we're called to proliferate and populate the species, and sodomy is not conducive with that.
Yes, exactly. So how is it morally incorrect? You're still talking about science.
Look, Christian believes, Christian follow Christian ethics. We're called upon the Christian ethics to be fruitful and more multiply. That's our moral art. Sodomy is not conducive with that moral art. So that's why we will say it's immoral.
With that moral
I never
art.
said anything
So
about
Inquisition, this
that's
is
why
still
we will
you're
say
still
this immoral.
arguing. Okay, Inquisition, you're still arguing that it's scientifically incorrect. I'm asking you, where's the
I
time?
never said anything about science, bro. I said
Okay,
it
okay. So,
is
so Inquisition, you're
morally.
basically Inquisition. You're not tracking. When I'm telling you, why is it morally incorrect? And you told me because it's sodomy and it's not able to reproduce. So, and this is something scientific. So, how is morals equals to science?
Well, let me
Just because it's scientifically correct, no, just because it's scientifically results in the same thing as your moral foundation doesn't mean I'm speaking about science. The moral foundation of it is the Christian ethic cause to be called to be fruitful and multiply. That is our command, our
Answer
moral
any.
command from
Okay.
God,
You
right?
still didn't
Just because
answer.
it coincides with scientific basis, which would actually grant credence to our
Okay,
moral
you're not
art,
answering
doesn't mean that we're
anything.
talking. You're
You're still.
not.
Psalms
Why
37
are
You
you
know,
says,
asking
no,
him
"The
to
Lord
Pussy.
state
laughs
Sorry,
at
no,
the
wait,
more
wicked,
Pussy.
for
if
he
you're not
knows their
addressing
days
No,
are
it?
wait,
coming."
wait, Pussy. Repeat what I said. Repeat what I said, because you're interrupting. What did I say? Repeat it.
You say that because.
No, don't interrupt him. I want you to repeat verbatim what I said because I don't think
The
you should
days are
have.
coming.
What did I say?
No,
Okay.
no, don't interrupt him. I want you to repeat
Yeah, so
verbatim what I
you
said because I
repeated
don't
it
think you're
three
interrupting.
times.
What
Yeah,
did I
so
say?
so you repeated three times exactly how the
Mm-hmm.
fact that this is like morally incorrect is because for Christian ethics we are meant to reproduce and sodomy.
Exactly. And as such, no, wait, you just repeated it. And as such, just because it coincides with science
And
doesn't
as
make
such,
it any
no,
less of a
wait,
moral
you just
art.
repeated it. And so as such,
Understand, right?
just
Uh-huh.
because it coincides with science doesn't make it any less of a moral art. You understand that, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's not a defeater whatsoever. Because like, if you can't find a way to link your like, this is a scientific claim, right? If you can't find a way to link a scientific claim to like your moral belief, then it just makes no sense whatsoever. I'm
I did
asking you
not
what's
try
morally incorrect.
to.
You're not
Sorry,
doing anything.
continue.
You're still explaining to me why it's scientifically incorrect. Because you're telling me, oh, it's because we can't reproduce. Oh, and because my God says.
Hello,
Yes, but like,
Bro,
let
you're
me tell
not
you something.
funny.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you
Oh
something
my.
about like the
I
whole thing.
think she's pretty. I think they're pretty funny.
No, so
Like
all right. So I'm
Know
gonna
that
maybe
scientifically,
maybe I can
shoot you
explain
in
it
the
to you
head
this
more
way.
often than
All
not,
right.
go on.
you are gonna die, right?
We know that scientifically, if I shoot you in the head
We
more
also
often
have
than
a
not, you
moral in
are gonna die, right?
conservationists and
Yes.
utilitarians. We also
Sure.
say
Correct?
that's a moral art, correct?
Okay. We also have a moral
You
claim
realize
because
those
consequentialists
coincide.
and utilitarians will also say that's a moral wrong, correct?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say to you, bro.
You realize how they coincide.
That just because it
Yeah,
coincides
sure.
with science doesn't mean it makes it
Exactly.
any
That's what
less
I'm
of an
trying to
art
say to you,
and not
bro.
a moral art.
Yeah, so you're just proving how
That just
different.
because it coincides with
As
science
our
doesn't
moral
mean it
art,
make it
I
any
gave you
less
a
than
moral art. If you
than a
want to take
moral
it in
art.
terms of my
That's
It
not
moral
the
doesn't
art,
make
I'm
it
point.
gonna
any.
take it in
That's
terms of a
not.
You
moral
Oh
asked
art.
my.
for a
You're
moral
gonna
art,
say
I
it's
gave you a
not a
moral
moral
art.
art
If
because
you
it
want to
I
is
take
a
don't.
me to
moral
terms for my moral art, you have to take me to terms for my moral art. But you cannot say it's not a moral art because it is a moral art.
Okay, but I can steal men really quick. So if for some, do you think it's sinful for a married couple to not reproduce?
On the terms of
To
Ooh.
I mean, to actively try to not reproduce.
Ooh.
Yeah, like they don't want to reproduce whatsoever.
On the terms of capitalism, that would be yes, that would be wrong. But
Ugh.
I'm not really. I'm not really have a stance on the other way. I would probably gear to on the side that it is sinful. Yes, I can grant it, but for the sake of argument.
And you think it's sinful because there's no act of like a reproduction and continuing Christian ethics?
I guess that would be the basis. Yes.
Interesting. Would you think there's some sort of similarity with like sodomy or something?
because
Yes.
both are the intent is the same. Both produce the same action, not the rejection. You didn't finish.
Produce the
You
same
realize you didn't
action, not
It's pretty. What I say,
the
it's
rejection.
different. It's
You
different for
didn't
men
you
and
didn't let me
women.
finish. You
It's
realize you
different.
didn't let me
Yeah,
finish,
the
right?
intent. Okay, yeah. So it's different for a man and woman to say, "Nah, I'm not gonna reproduce," than a man like sticking his ween inside another man's booty and not doing anything.
Yeah, the
Like it is
action is
completely
different, but the result is the same.
Yeah. The intent is the same.
I already get. Yes, the intent is the same.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the
intent being the
actions are the
same is
same.
equal to it being completely equivalent.
The actions are not
I
the
did
same.
not
Let
say
me
they
just
were
get it.
completely equivalent. Please track my
No,
words.
Yeah,
I
and
they're
said
not.
you
the
agree. You know why I said
results and the
necessary. You know why I said
intent are the
necessary.
same.
Hold on,
The
Inquisition. I
result.
said necessarily equivalent, right? And you agreed to it. So this is why I said it's not properly equivalent. You literally agreed to what I said.
I do, sorry
You
if I
literally said
misspoke. I don't mean it. I don't mean if it's totally equivalent, but based on the fact why it would be sinful, the intent and the result
yeah. So now you're
would
backtracking.
result into a sinful activity.
Yeah, but now you're backtracking because you agreed that it would be to be a necessarily equivalent.
I'm not backtracking. I can clarify my
You
points
are.
without
You don't
backtracking.
necessarily. Okay, you
What?
know.
Where
Okay,
did I
back
change?
clarifying. Okay, Inquisition.
Where did I
Clarifying would be
no?
like me saying.
Back.
Hey,
Wait.
wait, hold on.
No.
Inquisition.
You're over talking me. You know that
Inquisition.
I
Hold
allow you to
on.
speak every single time. No, don't
It's
mute him. Don't
the
mute him. Don't mute him.
Inquisition.
I know. I don't like muting. I don't like muting. No, don't mute him. I'm gonna make
Inquisition.
you speak. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let you speak, and then I'm gonna counter. Correct? So go ahead.
Okay, Inquisition, right? An example of like me clarifying would be me like saying like, yeah, so Troy is a blue, and then I say, no, wait, Troy is yellow. That is clarifying, but you went completely back when you can like realize that I said in the beginning necessarily equivalent. That is backtracking. You're going back to your argument from the base one.
Yeah. Okay, can I speak?
But you
now?
agree you're backtracking?
No, can I speak now?
What?
Is it okay, yes,
Hello?
can I speak now?
Let him talk.
So,
Let him talk.
the thing about it, I'm not backtracking because I did not change the premise of my argument. You said a word that I did not hear, and I acknowledge that you didn't say a word that you did not hear. And I
How?
said, okay, cool.
Then that is not my fault that you agreed to something that I was speaking loud enough.
Why
Like
you
what?
over talking,
not-
bro? You know, 'cause
What?
I gave you the floor. I gave you the floor to speak.
I was completely quiet and I said what I said,
And I
you
did not
couldn't hear me.
didn't finish.
But you
finish.
still,
Go on then.
but you
Go on
still
then.
agree. You still agreed to it. That's the problem. That's what you're not understanding. You didn't hear
I
me. You
did.
agreed to it.
Remember, I'm taking your word that you said it. I don't know if you said it or not, and that's fine.
My God.
Listen, so I'm saying that I'm not backtracking because I'm not changing the context of my point or what I believe. I said that
That's fine. The intent would be the same, and the result would be the same, and it would also result in saying. I can't hear him, guys. Are you muting? I can't hear him. What are you saying?
I can't hear him, guys. Are you muting? I
Fairly
can't hear him. What are you saying?
equivalent. Doesn't matter.
No, no.
So are you trying to say?
Okay, go ahead. Did I ascribe fault to you? I didn't ascribe fault to you, bro. I never ascribed fault to you. I never ascribed fault to you. I never said you were at fault.
Sure, I can. Yeah. So that, like, what I said, right, is that it is. Yeah. So if you couldn't hear, like,
my fault.
if you couldn't go me here, like nobody was talking, it would be like I'd understand it if like somebody were to be like speaking over me, but the thing is you did not ask for clarification. You agreed to this. Do you think in a scenario where it'd be like a court of law, like this would just be like let pass? Yeah, your honor, I just I needed to clarify. I didn't really hear that.
Well,
Like
we are
if you agreed
talking
to it.
over a phone. We are talking over a phone.
Yeah,
There's always
yeah,
a
this is
chance
what
of
I'm-
something not
yeah,
being
so this-
transmitted.
Yeah, so
So
this
are
is
you
what an
saying
analogy is.
no? I just want to get clarification. Are you saying because I didn't hear you or I said something that I may not fully agree with, that means that changes? That means you win the argument and that changes my moral foundation?
Okay, Inquisition. What I said, right? I said, okay, I basically said this, right? Okay. Where's the necessary equivalence for both, right? And then you went on to argue that like because the intent is the same, then it is completely the same. And that's why I brought up it shouldn't be necessary. Like you didn't even decide to attack that. You just went on, continued to explain your point, and didn't realize that that's the reason that you like basically conceded to what I was literally talking about right now.
I did not first of all, I did not concede.
Oh my God.
You asked
Could we just
questions and
repeat the argument
No,
again?
the thing is that he's trying to get you a got you here for something.
I understand it. I understand it.
And the thing about it, I can even say that look, I'm humble enough to say I did not hear what you said, but
Yes.
I can also clarify my moral position.
Okay.
So just because I said that, and just because doesn't mean my moral position changes, bro. So you can restate what you say, and I can give you a clarifying answer.
Yes,
That's what I-
please just restate and please just just repeat it.
Go ahead,
please.
Honestly, I forgot what was my argument. What was my argument?
Exactly.
Well,
I know
the
you
argument-
forgot what your argument was
wait,
because we're
wait.
harking on the
Wait.
problem. You were
Wait,
harking
wait.
on the point that I did not hear what you said, but you did not even recognize my moral
I
foundation.
remember what I said. I just want to know
What I was trying to say, regardless of what you say, you were talking. No, I can tell you what you said because I write down notes and I was listening to you. You were trying to make a correlation between sodomy and a man and a woman actively not trying to procreate.
Yes.
And you said if it would be sinful, and I said okay, based off the intent and the result, it would be under Christian ethics sinful.
Yes.
That was basically the argument.
Yes.
But you were so caught up on the fact that I didn't hear unnecessary, trying to get
Yes.
a got you. You were not even focusing on the argument at hand. And I was
Exactly.
being quite
The
patient with
argument
you,
at hand literally
realizing
falls
that
under
that's what you were
necessary.
trying to do. But
could
go
we
ahead,
just please just
go ahead,
like
go ahead.
repeat again? Like, could you just like repeat your point again, and then I just want to hear like the repeated
Yeah, I
answer from
literally,
Inquisitor.
yeah, I was literally saying how the intent doesn't really matter. There would need to be a necessary equivalence for like both to be completely like alike, and like you hear me right? I said necessary. It just intent, in my opinion, is not enough for something, at least under your incorrect worldview, to be considered like wrong.
Well, okay, but
Okay, that's fine.
he said intent and result.
I did,
That's one thing
but
that you've
but the
left
thing
out.
about it, he doesn't understand Christian ethics, and he doesn't realize that intents are also very vital to Christian ethics. Because
Yes.
just because I unalive somebody and I didn't intend to do it, that is taken into consideration of the Christian ethics. But since you want to say my worldview is wrong, can you state what your worldview is? Are you a consequentialist? Are you a more a relativist? What is your worldview? Utilitarian? What is yours?
I'd just say I believe that morals are subjective.
So you're more a relativist, right?
Yes.
So so analyzing persons are subjective based on your area, correct?
Yeah, at least in my opinion, it's wrong.
No, so your opinion is wrong. So if I carry you to say Bangladesh and they decide to unalive you based off their moral foundation, they are correct.
I mean, if they believe that is correct in their view, then they would be correct. Yeah.
And so you don't believe that there's nothing absolute, there's no more. I just went through this with Noah, so I'm going to go through it again. You guys are probably tired of it, but do you realize the problem with moral relativism? Do you realize
Yeah,
it?
we definitely do.
Even liberals
yeah, of
are
course.
not morally relativists anymore. There's an entire ideology called post-liberalism where they throw away the aspect of moral relativism because they see that there's some intrinsic problems with it. But let's go down the aspect. Do you believe that there are absolutes in life?
That there are absolutes in life?
Yes.
Not necessarily.
Okay. How do you make a child?
How do I make a child?
There's only one
Love
process
and
of making a
connection.
child.
That's why I said not necessarily via insemination or at a laboratory. You can maybe engage in
No,
consensual
but
life and
the
unconsensual.
ingredients are always absolutely the same, correct? There's
Yeah.
no other pathway changes, so they are more absolutes, correct?
Yeah, so there are some. I said not necessarily. I didn't
Okay,
say.
so just that little example, I didn't have to think hard, show that your philosophy is inherently false.
Not necessarily, because I don't think a biological process would equate to something related to morality.
No, because everything stems down from biology.
Not necessarily.
Everything comes down from biology.
Okay.
All right, please demonstrate one thing that doesn't come down from biology. Please go ahead.
Morality, I wouldn't need to, because that's like your burden to prove.
No, I'm just asking it. No, you said that everything, not necessarily. So please prove me wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Name me
I don't
one
need-
systematic process that does not come downstream from biology.
I don't need to prove a negative. Like you're making the claim here that everything's derived.
No, you said no. First of all, you need to prove your claim. You said not necessarily. That's fine. No, I asked you.
No, but this is the thing, right? You switched. You then ignored my claim and then switched to how everything derived from biology.
All right, but I'll go back again.
No, he didn't
What
switch.
is
He
your
didn't switch at
claim?
all.
I know I didn't switch, but I'll play his game.
Hold on, you were talking.
Where did I switch my claim?
You said okay, right? So when I was saying that, like not necessarily, right? We started talking about how like everything comes down from biology, and I asked you, yeah. So how exactly would morality be tied to biology? And then you said, oh yeah, well now you need to prove how that's not necessarily.
I want someone to unalive me. I'm not gonna lie.
What was it?
Nothing. I'm sorry.
Do you, let me just ask you a question.
Crooks
Do your
is
morals
suicidal.
matter do your morals matter if you don't have life?
Do my morals matter if I don't have life? What do you define by
Yes.
not having life?
I didn't hear that. Sorry, you broke up. What you
Being
said?
dead, not living.
Yeah. How would my morals matter if I'm non-existent?
So, and life is a biological process, correct?
Yeah, sure. And when you end life, that's called
So
death.
all morals are derived from life, correct?
What was that?
So thus all morals are derived from life, correct?
I'd say they derive from the mind. Yeah.
Which can you have a mind without being alive?
No.
Okay, so we spin around again, and such all moral processes come from life, correct?
I said the mind. I didn't say life. You don't need. I can't
Can
make.
you explain to me how you have a mind? First of all, you don't believe in Christian ethics. If you are believing in Christian ethics, there could be some credence to your argument that there's an afterlife, but you don't believe in that. So tell me
From my butt?
So tell me how morals don't derive from life. How can you have a mind without
How
life?
can morals derive from man? That's a negative. Like what? I just literally just said that morality can be dependent from the mind. That's all I said. I never said anything that is
And
derived.
where does your mind? Where's your mind located?
In my body.
And your body's what?
It's roaming on
Tell us
planet.
about your body, you know? What am I doing?
Your mind. So, I'm just trying to see if you can be like. I know that you're in you're caught right now. I'm just trying to see if you're being humble enough to say that you're caught. If all morals derive from biological processes, you say that okay, it derives from your mind, and your mind is also contained in your brain, which is in your body, and all of those are biological, corporeal entities that we use to interact with the world. Correct? So all morals thus then derive from biological processes. Am I wrong there?
No, yeah, that's not equivalent.
Right, like it's direct to me. Please show me where it's not equivalent. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, so like I stated, right, morality in my worldview is dependent on the mind, and it being dependent on the mind is because it basically is what we believe it to be right and wrong. So I don't think that
Can you
morality.
have a mind without having a brain?
Can you have a mind without having a brain?
Yes.
No, they're.
I don't know.
So okay, so it's derived from a biological process, correct?
What do you define? Oh my god, this is what you're not understanding. Do you think the mind? It's like we're roaming on.
Bro, it's two of us discussing something, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the one that's not.
Let's just argue on it that it is conditioned. It is
Mind is like the philosophical word for a brain.
Yes, it's analogous.
I don't have a
So let's just say that it is conditioned by biological
And as such,
processes.
all morality comes from
mind.
It's a logical
I'd like to
entailment, bro. And
concede
you can
the whole debate
I'm not
from the
going to
pro-life
make
side
you
to
escape
end it.
this.
How do we even
If we
get
cannot
there?
agree on this simple concept, there's nowhere to go from here. If it's derived from your mind is held in your brain, which is a biological process. That means a logical entailment that all morality derives somewhere.
Organism, a biological organism.
Thank you.
concede-
All right, getting somewhere. Why
I
did I
concede the
take
whole
20
debate.
minutes?
Pro-choice is right. Kamala
No,
2025.
Pussy. Why was it so hard for you to concede that? If you say something that's objectively true to me, now I'm gonna concede. Why was it so hard for you to concede that point? I just really want to know.
Because this really wouldn't prove anything about objective morality.
No, it does prove something
but
about objective morality,
that's
but it
the funny
shows that
part.
there's
I feel like
a
he's
thread
trying to
line that is objective and absolute that cannot be deviated from and
Yeah.
cannot be accessed by any other path. It's a part of the
point is that morality is born with
transcendental argument for life and God.
You believe subjective
That is called the
experience?
transcendental argument of it's called the transcendental argument of philosophy.
Subjective experiences are objective?
You'll have to repeat that. Sorry, Crux, you were saying something? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, he was saying
I
something.
was
cut him off.
yapping.
Sorry.
I was only yapping. I got tired, and so I decided to throw my toys out the pram, and I said I concede to pro-choice Kamala 2025. I wasn't being serious.
All right. Sorry, Pussy. What were you saying first? You were asking a question? Sorry, go ahead.
He left.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
Where'd he go?
But Inquisitor.
No, I don't want to.
Did somebody kick him? Where'd he go?
I don't think
I
so.
don't know. I wouldn't be upset.
But like,
No, I don't want anybody to kick anybody because that's what they do on their platforms and because their arguments aren't strong. We don't need to do that. We can just save simple points and just destroy their worldviews.
I feel like he was just trying to like deny everything.
Troy, you're muted. Yeah, Troy, we're not hearing you. Troy.
He's not trying to speak. He's not trying to.
Oh, they're arguing. They're playing. Oh, they're playing. Okay. No, moral relatives are really scary to me. Like he wasn't able to concede that simple point. I trapped him in a loop, a logical loop, and he was not able to concede that. That is, and that's why you can't trust these people because they are scary.
No. See, the thing is, I feel like he was just trying to deny it at some point. You know, he was just trying to deny everything.
And that's the point. You cannot. The thing about it, that is dangerous. If you say something to me that's objectively true, even if it defeats my point, I'm gonna admit to it because that's how we learn.
Definitely.
That is crazy. This guy said, "Oh, it comes from your mind." I said, "Okay, all morality is derived from biological processes." He said, "Not necessarily."
I know.
And then I said to him, "Can you have moral processes without life?"
I guess.
I feel like,
No, Mark.
your point was definitely right.
Mark, wasn't that crazy?
Like Troy, can we do a
These people are
talent show
legit
now,
insane.
please?
I
Yeah,
guess.
life is
No,
meaningless
Mark,
and
did,
talent
Mark,
shows
did you
bring
see
me
that?
life.
Mark, wasn't
Troy,
that crazy?
did you
Like,
listen?
these people are legit insane.
To be honest, I was
Bro,
talking
bro,
about poop
you
the whole
missed.
time,
Bro,
so
Yeah,
I
we
didn't.
weren't really
Troy,
paying
did
attention.
you
that
listen?
was crazy.
Did you listen to Troy?
No, not really.
Bro,
Bro,
you
that's
missed.
crazy.
Bro,
You did good though. You
that
did
was
good. You did
crazy,
good.
bro. Bro, that was
I
crazy.
I fear you cooked.
No, but
Yeah, you
that's
did good.
Bro,
crazy.
He
that's
I said
obviously
let him
crazy.
left.
cook, and he didn't
So.
cook.
He could not admit. He could
Yeah,
not
he
admit that
obviously left, so
morality comes
you
from
cooked him.
life.
No, but
Wait,
that's
who's watching this
crazy.
right now?
Moralities are crazy, bro.
So he could not admit. He could
No,
not
I'm like,
admit that
who
morality comes from life. He could not admit that. Moral relatives are crazy, bro.
Not a part of my culture.
None of you
I
said bless you to me. I
apologize.
just wanna point that out. Like I sneezed, no one said bless you. It's like
God
it
bless
was
you.
happened.
Not a part
Thank
of
you
my
so
God bless
much.
culture.
you.
I
He just
apologize.
said who gives a F about these fragile.
Amen.
The thing
Hail
about it is that
America
we have
and
to live.
and wherever you
No,
and God bless.
me just said who gives a F about these fragile MFs. The thing about it is that we have to live with them. So we have to. The reason why it got so bad is because we ignored them and we did not contend and destroy their ideas, and that's how we end up where we're at. So ignoring problems always leads for it to be fester. So we have to engage with them, or else we live under their worldview, and that's what I have a problem with Christianity too. Christianity gave up the moral grounding to make philosophical arguments and actually impart itself on this on the populace because they were gaslighted to think that is some moral wrong to govern by
and you have this theory of hippie Jesus. Oh, Jesus said to love everybody and stuff. Jesus also chased people out of the temple with whips. And he said, buy a sword. He said, sell your cloak and buy a sword. Oh, sorry, Oracle. Well, you want an argument that God exists? That's what you're saying? Why God does exist? Oh, the strong, the strongest,
You,
why God does exist, or
That's
the
not the way
strong
Kurt
the strongest argument I have for God existing is a transcendental argument for God. Look,
I
just
have
like
I have the
personal
best argument in the
experiences,
world.
and let me tell you, that
I
shit's
have the
scary.
best argument in the world.
So look, have you ever seen the basic function of a DNA? DNA is so intrinsically and so methodically designed that it implies a creator.
Alright, so we're
So
talking
that
about
means
fine
that
tuning,
means
right?
that means
Quaker wrote
what is it?
So we're
Sorry,
talking
what are you
about
saying, Kerr?
fine tuning in this case.
Yes, so
Fine tuning.
You could probably come to task and say, why does the Christian God exist? And then I am not a Christian apologist. I would not be the best one to debate.
then I am not a Christian apologist. I would not be the best one to debate you on that. I'm humble enough to say I don't have enough data or reach to actually debate that. Probably Mac could probably be better at debating that than me, but I'm not the one. I'm more based in science
Debating
and
what?
political.
Well,
Why God exists.
exactly, but
The Christian God. Why
Oh,
is
I'm
the
good at
Christian
that. I
God
can do it.
real?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Troy, you cook him, leave him in 2024.
Yeah, I'm leaving you behind like we were left behind. You're coming with us. Wait, that's not what I want.
You're coming with us.
Wait.
We'll just wait
Guys,
here while you do that, I
Troy,
guess.
can we do feminism next? You will get a lot of people in here.
Christ,
Alright, go
Troy,
on.
can we
Go
do
on with your
feminism
point.
next? You will get a lot of people in
Where
here.
we go? Yeah, Troy, can we do a feminism one next? I feel like to debate some feminists. Yeah, go ahead, Crooks. Cook. Wait, guys, I'm curious. What race do you guys think I am? I'm just curious. You think I'm a what? What's a Duskat? What's a Duskat? What?
darker skinned Jamaican who's living in the United States.
What's a
No,
dark
that's
skin?
like
What's a
asking
dark skin? What?
because that's what people
I imagine you're not white, right?
No, that's like asking. I was also because some people say I saw white, so I was like,
no face
Face
Oh,
reveal.
Who says that?
Face reveal.
Never.
Who says that?
no face reveal. I cook too much people.
Face reveal.
Never.
I'm up here.
No,
I
work
just
at a big
publicly
lab
said
until
poop
in
these
front of
things change
everybody.
to, like, face reveals are
No,
not.
I work at
Publicly.
I work at a big lab until
tendency to
these
try to
things change.
socially
Like
destroy
face reveals are not
Like,
really
so,
good.
yeah.
Liberals have a tendency to try to socially destroy you.
Mike,
Like,
you wanted
so,
this.
yeah.
I didn't want this. You wanted this. I didn't want it.
Oh, I have to run
Did you
it?
guys know Rita? Did
Yeah.
you see Rita? I would
Talent
love to
show,
say I
let's
love to meet him.
Wait,
go. I
did the
swear
guy
I'm here.
know Rita?
Face. The
Did
thing
you
about
did
it
you
is,
just see
a
Rita?
smart. I
I
think
would
it was
love to meet. He
Socrates.
said, "I love to meet
No,
God for judgment, so I
no.
can
The thing
reject him
about
to
it,
his
I
face."
think
The thing about it,
Socrates said.
I
That's
saw. I think it was
hilarious.
Socrates.
You know, I hope he does. I
I
hope he
also
does.
heard it from
No, the
Big
thing
Bang
about it,
Theory.
I think
He said,
Socrates said
a wise man
something
believes
that
in God
imparted
because
on
he
me,
has
and
nothing to
I
lose
also heard it
if he
from
doesn't.
Big Bang Theory. It says a
He has everything. No,
wise
he has
man
nothing to
believes in
lose if
God
he
because he has
does,
nothing to
and has
lose
everything to
if
lose if
he
he doesn't.
doesn't. But you have everything. No, he has nothing to lose if he
I
does, and has everything to lose if he
There is
doesn't.
our first
yeah.
contestant.
Do you want to hear? Oh,
The
I
man
was
said
gonna
Big
present
Sarah
my
is that?
talent.
ancestors hunted you people
Okay,
like
let's
Yeah,
dogs.
yeah.
I
You're the
think he's talking
first. Go
about
on.
me.
The man said
I was
his
gonna.
ancestors hunted your people like dogs.
Oh
I think he's
my.
talking.
I was going to sing
It's
Karma
Sarah.
by JoJo Siwa.
Sarah.
Shut up.
Wait, why am I not a host of this?
What?
Wait, I'll expand you. You either get to take Mac or Troy's place.
Overtake Troy's place.
Okay,
The
well,
camera
second of
is
all, I just want to perform Karma by JoJo Siwa.
Okay.
If you do that, you'll get removed.
Karma's a bitch.
You get removed.
Mm. Oh my gosh, let her cook.
For real, what a hater.
That's crazy.
Let's hear a joke, Sarah.
Your mom.
Is this becoming the Discord? Wait.
Wait. It literally is. Hello. So people join up for talent show. Join up, ho.
Wait,
For
who
the
let Mac
talent
on
show.
here? Who let
Hey.
Mac go on here?
I don't have a talent.
Yo.
You don't have a
That's
talent.
crazy work.
I
Now
don't
Big
have
Me.
a talent.
Wait, now Big Me, I want to
I don't have
co-star.
a talent. Oh,
Alright.
Big me
Sarah,
is
you're in the
wild.
army? Sarah, you're in the army?
Me when I get big.
I don't have a
Me when I
talent.
get big.
Are you in
Me
the
when I'm
army?
a big
Sarah, you're in
When
the
I
army?
get me when I get
Sarah, you're in the
disconnected.
army?
Oh, cool.
What?
Are you in the
No,
army?
she dresses
No,
up
I'm
like
in the
that
Air
for fun.
Force.
She dresses up like that for fun.
No, that's just cosplay.
okay.
I'm in the Air Force.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't see any clothes here. Everything's like it's just a floating face.
This is a floating head.
Exactly. Make it about
Look at the
feminism.
viewership since I started this.
So
It's literally
lame.
Exactly.
it's more than
Hey,
half.
Make it
we
about
have a
feminism.
contestant. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm muting you for a
People
second. We
hate
have
talent.
a contestant. We have a contestant. Hazma, let's hear your talent.
Wait, I wasn't.
Oh, Hamza, sorry, I might be a little dyslexic.
So I can make someone laugh easily. It's a
Okay,
Alright,
let's
go
do
on.
it.
Go on, let's hear it.
Alright, so what do you call a Muslim and a bull?
What do you call it?
I laugh.
Your mom.
That's crazy.
I
Oh
love.
my gosh.
Hello, Walk. What's your talent? Hello?
W delivery.
Hello, what's your talent?
W delivery. That's got to be one of the deliveries of all
My
time.
talent's gonna be kicking you from this live if you don't speak within the next 5
Oh.
Yeah, that's my talent already. That's crazy.
Oh, just left. Join if you have a talent, please.
Join if you don't. We'll help if you find it.
I don't want to help nobody.
Sorry. I'm
Mac,
from Brazil.
Mac,
I can
They've
play a
replaced you
music
already.
for you. Brazil.
Yes.
Mac, they replaced you already.
Who?
A música from Brazil.
Wait, who's watching this?
Okay, let's
Yeah.
see. Let's go off.
Andy's replaced you already with some southern.
With who?
Some southern
Can I play?
accent there, apparently.
Sorry, go ahead, Walk.
We want to see and hear / experience the talent. Let's go.
That's crazy.
Talent all over me, Pappy. Let's go.
That's wild.
Crooks, have you had some Alfie Pops?
I have,
Oh, you have. I knew
but I
it.
didn't think it was gonna be relevant. I didn't think it would be obvious.
On the Lord's Day is wild.
Was it talent all over me? Was that what gave it away?
You were
Oh,
just
dear.
you were being a lot more crazy than you usually are. You're like, I'm so done. I want live executions for you all.
Put everyone in jail. I would never advocate the death
Oh, yeah,
penalty.
put
I
every-
simply want you to. I'm putting everyone into tiny boxes. That's all. It's just a little bit of box play. Wait, what?
What?
What was that?
Hold
Come
up.
again? That's crazy.
Everyone goes into
Hey,
little
yo.
boxes.
Grave digger.
Hello,
What
how's
is
it going,
your
guys?
talent? What's your talent?
So I make the rap. I usually do some rapping. You guys want to hear?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
there we go. Let's see. Got my niggas in Paris, and they going gorillas.
No way.
Ball so hard, motherfucker want to find me. First nigga gotta find me. What's 50 grand to?
Did he leave?
That's crazy.
Well,
Wait, why did you kick him?
That's
Why did you
wild.
kick him?
What happened?
Did he leave?
Is that
No, we kicked.
Why?
we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice.
so that word
What
is banned,
happened?
that word is banned?
Is that against COS or something?
It's to avoid the live getting banned, so we had to get rid of that.
Wait, so that word is banned?
It can be because they don't know who's saying it, so just ban the word.
Bro, TikTok is weird.
Yeah, sometimes.
He said
Wait,
he could
we
make a
should,
clean version.
Yeah.
You should what?
I was thinking we should do the garlic phone.
The what?
Garlic
Yeah, on
phone.
live.
No, not on here.
That's a
Oh,
good
okay.
idea. We should go do garlic phone.
It's garlic phone, like garlic bread, but garlic phone.
Guys, thanks for having me. So I'm gonna move on.
Thank
I
you
gotta,
for coming.
Welcome.
No problem. I gave you guys a follow. I should give everybody a follow.
I
Let me see.
love you.
Adam's got a talent, no joke.
How do I follow Mac? Wait, where's Mac? How do you follow from this? Do you click on the picture and follow everybody individually? How do you do it?
Wait,
Yeah,
Mac,
there's
I
like a
will
plus button
follow
for me.
you.
Mac,
The
my,
plus button? Okay, oh, the plus
I
button.
love
Okay.
you.
All
I
right,
love you.
cool.
hey, Mac,
Say
All right,
back.
later, guys.
you have
Hey.
to
See you.
finish all these sources. Mac,
Hold on, I want to hear this. What?
Wait, so you have to finish all these like sources. The end of it. Catch.
What?
What did you say? I did not understand any of the words.
Bro, the
What
sources
was
like
that?
you have to finish the sources. Like I say like catch, and you have to say up. Like you know what I mean?
Oh, he's
Oh, I
gonna
see,
say
I see.
salt and veer. He's gonna say
no,
salt and
why would I
veer.
never?
No,
Can
no.
you translate for that? That to me,
Troy,
because
Okay,
you're not
okay,
good.
so
Now
so
stop,
okay, so
please.
what he's
Now stop.
shut up, Hamza.
No,
What he's
stop.
trying to do is he's trying to say the first part of a word, and then you have to say the second part. And what he's gonna do is he's gonna say
Salt and
salt and veer, and then obviously you say the last part, so then you can say the M word. But obviously
That's
it's not
wild. How did you know about that?
just like because it's a classic thing in primary school, which is probably where this guy is.
I'll do it right now.
I didn't.
Test me.
Primary school. Imagine calling it primary school, not grade school.
Test me.
That's what it's called.
It's
You can come
primary
up-
because it's an initial. 1v1 me on this. Sarah.
Primary.
Test me. Dude, dumbass can't even go off mute himself.
Sometimes is hard. Is hard to
He's
do.
too young.
It's not that hard.
It's hard
Sorry
to
for
not
saying the
use.
word.
Oh,
That's my bad.
Yeah,
my bad
just
for saying the
don't
word.
say that word.
I like the Gartic
It's not
phone
that
though. It's a
hard.
fun game. You guys got Discord.
No, we don't have Discord.
When you guys play it, when you guys
We
play
play
the
on
game,
iMessage. We
we
play on
play it on
iMessage.
Xbox.
Xbox.
Yeah, we play on Nintendo.
How do you play it on the Xbox?
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
like browser game.
It's a
Alright,
mod.
bye, mate.
It's a browser game
You
though.
go on the browser on the Xbox.
Hamza, do you got another thing for me? Let's go.
For you specifically?
Let's
Alvin,
go.
Wait, Alvin. So I can act 5 years old. It's just for me. I can do it easy.
Okay, do it.
Alright.
Okay, do it. It's wild.
Okay, wait. Just one thing, Mac, you are pedo. Just know that. I'm just saying.
My what?
Alright.
What did he say? I literally don't understand this kid.
Girly pop, stop. Girly pop, stop.
Girly pop, stop. Girly pop, stop. Imagine eating with that line. You thought you cooked, bro.
You thought you cooked, bro. Shush,
Literally
you're
eat my
American.
butt, bro. Literally eat my butt.
That wasn't funny. I'm not laughing.
Shush me.
She should be. She should be. She should be.
What is
Okay.
And have some sense about you because I don't play.
Hello, good night. Thank you for having me up.
Hello, how are we doing?
I agree with
Hello, good night. Thank you for having me up.
No problem. How do you feel about the prom?
I agree with most of it, but I see that the second one is a question: why don't black women submit to their men? I would guess basically they don't submit because basically they don't have to. They've been afforded the ability to don't. Well, they're on the illusion that they don't have to, because the resources are now provided through a more tertiary based set. So most people don't see the primary means of provision by men anymore, because we live in a mostly first world society. So most persons don't know where their eggs come from, how the steel is made, how the minerals are mined. So the appreciation for men will be deteriorated by the fact that most people just don't pay attention to it.
Okay. I like that answer. I personally think that part of the reason that women refuse to submit is because women kind of want to be leaders nowadays. I think when they see the word submit, they're not all the way understanding what that word means. So they're just running with it and they're saying, I'm not going to let someone control me. But every time that you clock into a job, or every time that you go to a college and you sit in that class and you show up on time and you turn in your work, you're ultimately submitting to the will of that school or that job. So what problem would you have with submitting to your man when you submit to strangers every day?
Submission with evil.
So yeah, you're correct. The thing about it is that they have correlated submission with evil. So that's the point. So they are coming submission, and it's a part of the the thing about it is what's actually ironic. If you have ever read the original feminist manifesto, everything that they wanted to happen happened. They wanted to get women in the workforce to double the labor pool and also increase taxes. They wanted to destroy the family, because just like in the Bolsheviks, one of the things is that the first structure of organization and of culture is also the family. That's the first unit of development. And if you destroy, you cannot have a total control while there exists a mini system such as the family subverting that control. So all of this was downstream of feminism. All of the roles that they wanted, all of the effects that they wanted to exist. So the first one was divulging men from women and correlated. Propaganda works. It correlated the word submission to mean that somebody's going to do something awful to you, and it also steeped in materialism as well, because as you said, we all submit to someone, but they have just changed the submission to someone that actually doesn't care about you. Let's take the situation with the CEO other day. That guy got gunned down, and they had a meeting still. That to show you how little these corporations care about you. He was the CEO, and you have chosen to submit to a nebulous corporation that views you as a number other than submitting to somebody that potentially loves you, which is crazy.
And the thing about it is that they don't see how destructive.
And the thing about it is
You're right
that
on the money.
and the thing about it is that they don't see how destructive it is, because from the advent of feminism and not submitting and living in
Children are more screwed up. Though you are getting
vicarious harmony as close to that as we can get. There's a plethora of problems. The family is weaker. The children are more screwed up. Though you are getting paid less. So what you fought for, you're actually working more and getting paid less. So it's a self-defeating problem.
Yeah. What were you saying, sir?
Anya, I think you're muted. I'm not sure. Not hearing you. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I'm muted, yeah. I was listening to you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What were you saying, sir?
I wholeheartedly agree. I agree. Absolutely. I think that feminism has played a big role in the lack of strong family structure within the Black community, especially pertaining to our young ladies. I think that once feminism introduced the idea, the idea was already really introduced, but I feel like when feminism really introduced the idea that, hey, women can be in charge too, a lot came with that. And there's nothing wrong with having like a female boss. Or once we start correlating submission and being a happy, wholesome family with boring and this and all of these negative terms and terminologies, that's when we stop seeing the value in that stuff. And I feel like feminism has done a great job with ruining the family in Black communities particularly.
Remember, people are very susceptible to propaganda. Remember, like in the 1920s or 30s. Don't quote me. Remember, there were commercials showing that, and doctors promoting smoking, be like, smoking is healthy for you, and pregnant women were smoking in commercials, and they did that in order to get women to smoke because they needed to increase their market share. So people are very susceptible to propaganda, and it's easier to fool someone than to prove that they have been fooled. So people are more susceptible to be fooled than for you to say, okay, you know that this was actually done so that they could get this and this out of you. They'll defend it to their last breath. So
I agree. Very valid. It seems like every time I go live, I always get the decent folks. I don't get any nut jobs on my panel.
No, the thing about it is that they don't really like to come to more conservative spaces because they have no mute button. So if you go there, because I debate them all the time, destroy the debates all the time. I just did one on abortion, but they did it, but they don't like to debate in person or online because they have nowhere to hide. They can't mute you because their points and their moral foundations and their worldview are not strong enough to stand up to scrutiny. So when they get scrutinized and pushed back, their flight response just kicks in. And because they don't have a fight response because they're inherently weak, they can only flight, and they are not able to flight. They legit lose everything. They lose their minds.
Yeah. I just was on a panel not too long ago with multiple women who I've beaten in debates on multiple occasions. And I guess them all on the panel kind of gave them that group power You know, when they're all on the same panel, so they feel like they can, you
the
know,
sisterhood.
yeah,
The
that sisterhood.
sisterhood.
And I was like, you know, either way that it goes, like even when I'm done here, you guys are gonna remember me, and you're gonna be upset every time you see me. And I'm very pleased with that idea. I'm glad that every time
What
you
they're
log
gonna
on here, you see me, you're a little pissed off. So, you
what they're
know,
gonna do is that they're not gonna let you up anymore. They mute you. Do they mute you consistently too? Like if
all
they're
the
speaking
time.
and I'm
All
like,
the time.
you have really have not faced any adverse events in your life because you don't have a mute button in your life.
Right.
You don't. If you talk to people a certain way and if you also converse with people in a locked area, there's no way to run. You have to just stand on your integrity, your virtue, and the factual and logical consistencies of your points. Like when I host panels, I don't mute anyone. You
Yeah.
could be saying something or something like that because that shows inherent and scholastic cowardice. You're just an
Right.
intellectual coward. Why do I need to mute you? And that's why they value censorship so much.
Yeah.
They always vote for censorship. And the thing about it is so short-sighted because you're voting for censorship. Eventually, that will be turned against on you.
Yeah. Yeah, not everyone's going to and people remember that. Let's just say that. People remember that time that you muted them and things like that. Typically I don't really mute people or drop people. The only time I drop them is if you're coming up and you're arguing with no substance. Like you have lazy answers who are kind of like, yeah, I guess so. I don't like that. I need somebody up here who's gonna engage and give me reasoning and whatnot. Otherwise, it's
Yeah, I
a
understand that.
pointless
But
conversation.
but dropping people because they disagree with you just shows that you're intellectual coward. Because the thing about it that if your points are and your worldviews as strong as you say you are, you're supposed to be able to systematically destroy the other person's worldview with, and they should want to leave.
Right.
You should not have to kick them.
Right.
Making them leave is a sense of actually winning, but
Yeah.
you're kicking them. That means what are you doing? That means
You lose.
you're basically running from your problem. Just because it's called a kick doesn't mean that you're actually kicking. You're running from your problems. You're running from because I'll debate with anybody all day, and because the thing about it is that people think the debates usually are to convince the other person. No, it's usually to convince the community on a whole of how nonsensical your points are.
Yeah.
Because most persons are either going to double. You find very few people are willing to say I'm wrong, especially on the limelight, and modify their position. But you may be able to be with somebody that is actually in the middle, or actually to show how logically inconsistent their points are. It's not about convincing the other person most of the time. Most people don't convince other people.
Indeed. Let me see. Okay, how you doing, Maya?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, how do we feel about the prompt?
Black women need to carry themselves with respect and dignity. I feel that goes for all women, but I mean, I get it. We're in the community,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I know a lot of women who carry themselves with respect and dignity. The women I surround myself with, I have a good circle. I see a lot of nonsense online, but I mean, I'm not in those spaces in real life.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of black women that do. Women are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, I think she was moving on the second part. I'm saying that the problem is not just about carrying yourself.
Oh, you could say what you were gonna say. The
Oh, sorry.
Inquisition.
I think she was moving on to the second part. I'm saying the problem is not just about carrying yourself with dignity, respect, and dignity. You know. The problem is also supporting and not supporting women that do. Because as you said before, Anaya, the thing about it, women may carry themselves on an individual level with respect and dignity, but they support other women that don't. And the support is the problem for the most part. Because, like, let's say Sexy Red, all of those other persons would not have reached the level of fame and notoriety they have if they didn't have support behind them. And I'm pretty sure they have a lot of decent women with respect and dignity actually supporting them, and that's where the problem lies.
Um, Me personally, I know I'm on a Facebook group. I'm in my 30s, so a lot of us are mothers already, and we were discussing Sexy Red, and a lot of us were straight outraged. I don't know if you saw the lip gloss line that she dropped, but she had an entire lip gloss line of sexually transmitted diseases and different.
Gonorrhea.
Yeah, and you're supposed to apply it to your lips. And I think there's a really deep message in that, and the message that they're trying to send to women and young ladies, really. And I think it's beyond even the community, like Black women. I think it's beyond that. I kind of feel like it's a programming on a like a real deep level, like
Yes, it's a
how the
societal
music.
program. It's not just
Yeah,
black women, it's women overall. It's not black women alone.
yeah.
It's just
So
women
it's
overall.
like, how do you fight against the machine?
You fight against the machine, as like me and Annie are talking about, from the family up. The family is the first unit of morality and teaching. It's the first school you go to, and that's where you fight against it. You impart good values on your children and also your community. You build it from there.
Okay, I agree with that. And I have a son, and I'm very lucky. My son doesn't even like rap. Like, if he just doesn't like it. But so, I mean, in that instance, like, my family on an immediate level, yes, we're good, and like my circle of friends, we don't agree with it. But on a more global level, and like the school, my son goes to public school, and things like that, it's harder to really
To
like say, oh,
regulate, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But the thing is that's where shame comes in, and we have lost shame as a society. You like back like let's say look at the Japanese system. They don't. Most of the citizens don't engage in those type of degenerate behavior because you will legit be shunned and shamed. They will walk past you like you do not exist, and shame is the biggest motivator and the biggest tool that societies have to keep their morals and ethics in line, because you cannot legislate every activity away. You cannot make laws for
Right.
every activity. You have to have individual duties and shame in order to curtail certain behaviors that you don't want in society. But we are taught nowadays, don't judge anybody, don't shame anybody, even when they're engaged in the most degenerate and most duplicitous acts. And we need shame and stuff in society, because that is what keeps society grounded. Without these mechanisms, we have nothing. Only thing we have left is violence, and nobody wants violence. But without the absence of shame, it will always be replaced with violence, because we'll reach a standstill and a moral hedge in the road where words cannot reach you anymore, and so there will be violence.
That's deep. And that's true. They say shame is one of the strongest emotions, and of all those things you mentioned, legislation, violence, shame is the only internal reflective way that can inspire change.
Yep. It's all shame. Remember even the story, if you're religious, even the story of Adam and Eve, when they ate the apple, the first thing that they felt was what? Shame, because they were now naked. They felt shame and embarrassment. Shame is the first emotion to show that you have done something wrong and to move you towards a social and a moral good. If you don't have shame, you legit don't have anything. You have other means, you have violence, but people don't really want violence on a global level because it affects everyone.
How do you think that you can shame people in the community?
Just
For
basically
example,
ostracize them.
okay.
You ostracize them. You try to counsel first, and if they don't receive the counseling, you ostracize them until they come back. The same story of the prodigal son. He ostracized his son until he modified his behavior, until they came back in the fold with pure and good and virtuous intentions, and then they take them back. That doesn't mean you have to put, and one thing that we do, when we take them back, you do not propel them to the highest level of testimony. Because when you propel them to the highest level of testimony, usually those niggling bad characteristics that you don't want to be there can resurface, and they can thus taint your internal philosophy or your internal moral construct that you're developing. You can take them back, and then once they have proved themselves to be adequate, then you can lead them to testimony. But what we do now, we take them back and we put them at the forefront, and then we start to see legit breaks in what their supposed moral virtues being, and they start to corrupt your message by putting in their form of choice or their interpretation of it in there. So like in Japan, like in African cultures, if you have a child out of wedlock or whatever stuff, your family is shamed, the entire community shames you, and that modifies behavior because nobody wants to go through that alone. Because humans inherently are social creatures. Nobody wants to be inherently totally out of the pack forever. What do you think, Aya? What is that? Ayana? Is it Ayana? Sorry, I didn't pronounce it. Ayana, is it? Is Ayana here? Ayana's muted.
Oh yeah, she is muted.
Ayana? She's probably gone. Yeah, so we need to bring back shame in society. It's the strongest tool we have.
How do you ostracize people though? Like, in as big as America is, like, how do you really, like, just with jail? Like, do you think prison is?
You start at the community-based level. Remember, like your community, like so. Let's say you start with a good strong family structure, and once you have a good strong family structure, you pass along those moral virtues and duties to look out for those among you. So then you build a good community structure, and those who step outside the bounds of what the community deems as morally virtuous and conducive to